MB pals, guys and gals, welcome back to the Rogue Room. I am your host, the Abigail Beck, the one and the only. There are no others. Do not accept any duplicates, any imitators, or any carbon copies. I'm the only one. Okay, so get used to it. If you have another Abigail Beck that you fancy, kindly I would request that you stop fancying them, because I'm the better one. Uniformly, categorically. How's it going? Welcome back. Welcome back, folks, to another one of these. There's a fucking guy in my YouTube Rogue Offline comment section. I don't know why people comment on my VODs, on my VOD channel. Like, it's an archive. It's public. It's only public so people can go watch the VODs if they missed them. This dude's just lost his mind at me. Jesus Christ. I don't know why. I don't know. Why do I respond to these actual idiots? Anyway. Reaper, here you go. Here's this for you. He's left a 5-comment thread. Why would you do that? You know? It reeks of someone who's desperate for attention. Anyway, I should block him from the channel, honestly. Just because they have nothing worth saying. I'm saying him because I'm honestly an internet boomer. I'm still caught in the mindset of everyone on the internet's a man, which is kind of hypocritical of me. You can get him if you want. I don't think his comments actually show up on the video though, which is hilarious. I'm okay. I'm good. I had a good day out today. I love how it's literally never not some dude being yeah, it's always just some dude. Let's go to the actual stream. That particular stream where I commented on Rosie Duffield and Graham Linehan. And the thing is, if you go to you can go to this video and you can't actually see the comments there unless you go to, look, if you go sort by top comments, they're not listed, they're not visible. So most people don't bother clicking sort by newest first. You'd have to do that to see his comments, and they start 1 month ago. And this is the guy I mentioned on Twitter a little while back. Someone did a video response to me, and I'm not going to watch your stupid video, you dickhead. He actually had to go into the comment section and leave a link to his video and said, I actually made a video response to you. I don't fucking give a shit. Go away. Who cares? You're a loser. 95% of the transphobia you encounter is from men. Isn't that funny how that works out? It's a misogynistic viewpoint to be transphobic, let's be honest. There's transphobia towards trans men, but I mean, the transphobia I've noticed towards trans men tends to stem from this angle of compassion for the lost lesbians who've turned to testosterone and mutilated their breasts. I don't know do trans men experience the same, I don't want to say degree, that makes it sound like our, trans misogyny is somehow worse than trans misandry, for example. But I haven't seen much maybe because I don't really see a lot of stuff directed at trans men. That I'm not familiar with. Does anyone have any anecdotes about the kind of transphobia trans men experience? Because it seems like when I've looked into it, which is admittedly not as much as I don't want to say that I would like. I don't want to look at more transphobia. Pardon? Yeah, it's just Z was just said. Generally speaking, most. Yeah, they're just coerced lesbians. They're confused. They're not actually trans men. That's the majority of the trans misandry I've seen. It's more erasure, yeah. Whereas trans women are dragged front and center up onto the stage and to have vegetables thrown at us. Anyway, how are you folks going? How's it going? Seem to pass easy. I mean, I never want to say that, but honestly, yeah. I'm just going to throw this out there right now. All of the trans men I have seen pass flawlessly. They just look like men. You know, I don't even consider for a second that they are trans men the vast majority of the time, unless I know. You know, there's a significant number of trans men that I've seen both on social media, here on Twitch. I haven't really... Here's the thing. If I've interacted with a trans man in real life, I wouldn't know it. I don't think, you know. You've had a migraine all day, not enjoying that. I'm sorry to hear that, Forks. With any luck, Fox's Flex Redeem will make you feel a little better. There you go. Oh, anyway. Like, are we good? Relatively, yes, but it fluctuates all the time. Particularly when they hit the gym. Yeah, isn't Ty Turner like jacked or something? Pardon? What, my muscles? Also, I have to show off the thing I got today. Look, I got spikes. I got
Your
spikes.
Gift
Oh
to
my
our
god,
patronage
Andromeda.
is most appreciated.
Thank
friend.
you. For gifting subs to Sonic Sakura, Uncanny Valley Girl, Dragon Metal Queen, Forks Winchester, and Harper Star. Oh my goodness. Thank you so kindly for destroying my sub goal yet again. I swear you just... I don't know, honestly. Is Streamlabs open? It is. I have to update my sub goal now. I can't not. You know. Fucking Twitch and it's broken ass broken as shit. So I was gonna say broken ass shite, which it is. It's broken ass shite. That's what it is. HRT seems to be able to do more for trans men. Well, that's because, you know, HRT, like, we're taking medications that are intended for cis people, generally speaking, and we're just piggybacking off of it. And it's the same, like, older men will tend to go on TRT, which is the stuff that I'd say Arnold Schwarzenegger is probably on TRT at this stage, especially because he spent a significant chunk of his career roided to the gills, you know, so he's lost a lot of ability to produce testosterone as time has gone on. So now he's definitely got to be on TRT in his older age. Hello, Gwendolyn. How you doing? Smudge, stop fucking the... Smudge is fucking the blanket. Oh, God. Kick him out. Boot him out. But yeah, he's chill. Okay, he's chill. As long as he's chill. So yeah, like a lot of men in older age take TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, to replace... Because there are a number of effects that come with losing testosterone, which I am familiar with. I've lost most of mine, but I've replaced it with a better hormone. And I forget, like, the reason people are taking the stuff that I take, like Proganova and Prometrium and stuff like that. Like, I've got my medications. And those are generally prescribed to cis women as well. I'm not 100% certain why. I think some of them might even be intended for, like, menopausal women, but because they encourage estrogen production, you know, trans women take them to transition effectively. And the thing that happens with, like, if you look at cis female bodybuilders, right? There's a few videos out there of cis female bodybuilders talking about their workout routines and things like that. And I'm talking like the really ripped, jacked, big girls with like the, you know, cut striations, 8-pack abs and shit. You'll listen to the way they speak. And one of the most notable admissions of steroid use is their voice. Testosterone did this to my voice. My voice is not as feminine as I would like. And it does, like, when you see a muscly bodybuilder woman who's really, really ripped, chances are she's on steroids of some kind, and the giveaway is the voice, because their voice deepens as a result of because steroids are based on testosterone, right? So they're putting testosterone into their bodies, and that's one of the results. So that has other hormonal side effects as a result, like facial hair development and, yeah, the depth of the vocal cords, and of course the growth of muscles, like the ability to grow bigger muscles. So
I see
Steph,
you
hello.
guests.
Hello, friends.
Welcome, friends.
How is it going? Let me put the fancy lights on, because you deserve the fancy lights for raiding. How's it going? How'd your stream go? What'd you get up to tonight? Tell us all about it, please.
The Rogue Room appreciates your recommendation.
3 Bears, thank you so kindly for the host, mate. Here's some flashy lights for you. Welcome in, folks, if you're not familiar with me, the Abigail Beck. I am the one and only the Abigail Beck. There are no others. There are no duplicates. There are no imitators. I don't know why I've suddenly started saying this, although it's not really that big of a stretch. I am a great streamer. I generally tend to do a discourse. Hello, Grim. Hello, everyone. Hello, Buggles, Marcos. What's going on, folks? Welcome in. We're just sort of chilling and chatting about steroids for some reason. New catchphrase. I don't need more catchphrases, do I? I've got too many. I can't just keep collecting catchphrases. I am a great streamer. Yeah, I know. I'm pretty good. I'd recommend me. Oh, hang on. What's the difference between a buffalo and a bison? I don't know about buffaloes, but I'm really proud of my bison. He's dating a buff fellow. Royd. I'll tell you what. One of the, by the way, sorry I missed that the first time, NBSP. I'll tell you what, one of the dumb things that I almost did, but prior to transitioning. You want to hear one of the dumb things I almost did? I strongly considered talking to one of the guys at my gym who was definitely not natural. Just being like, can you slide us a little bit of that gear, mate? How much would I be looking at? If I wanted to get, a bit jacked, a bit more lean. I was legitimately considering it. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. Ziwa says hi, Steph. You can come in and wave hello if you would like on the camera. Oh, well, just poke your head in. You don't need to show your crotch. How dare you make me smile and laugh. Steroids always suck on those plastic surgery shows because they turn cartilage into bone. Here's Ziwa. Say hello to Ziwa. She's so pretty. Anyway, Ziwa's wearing pants. They're just very... What's the phrase? They're not modest. I've got the same pair. They're very thin. They're very, they're flattering, but they're not modest by any stretch of the imagination.
Thank you for continuing membership. I'm having a pretty terrible morning. I hope you're having a better day than I am. So, have a sub.
I am having a good day, thank you. I'm so sorry that you're having a pretty terrible morning. I hope your morning clears up for you, woo. They're not yoga pants. They're just pajama pants. They're just like thin pajama pants. Anyway, you attempted for a second today till you remembered if you would dick up your transition. Wait. Oh, steroids. Yeah, steroids. Let's continue on the steroids talk while we're at it. We'll talk about Streamlabs very shortly. Yes, Rasco's Rangers. How are you, K-Light, by the way? I think you said something before and I missed it because chat was going off. Yeah, what was I going to say? Steroids. I know a bit about steroids because I was legitimately researching them. When I was trying to gain and I was dirty bulking, especially, I wanted to cut, so I started looking into what are the best cutting steroids? What would I want to take if I wanted to burn as much fat as possible while retaining as much muscle as possible? And the thing is, it's not just steroids. You don't just take steroids. There are a number of different medications, steroidal things that you take that have various different purposes, different compounds and things like that, which have different results, different effects. So there's I want to think trenbolone is a pretty common starter steroid. I think I would say starter, like someone who's, well, actually I think there's actually steroids earlier than that, but I think Anavar is the primary cutting steroid. Trenbolone is pretty much a good all-rounder for building mass and getting some leanness. But of course, the people who are taking steroids have also got a really strict dietary regimen, and they're also training a ludicrous amount. You just want to burn all the fat. You actually walked home from work today for the first time since the wedding stress. Ooh, okay. You want to ask your endo about T-gel though, so your T levels aren't flatlining anymore. That might be an idea. I will tell you one thing. I've had numerous people come to me over the years since I've been working out and since I've actually been in good shape. I've been in good shape, relatively speaking, for about nearly 5 years now. I started working out. What does a deaf gynecologist do? Reads lips. Lamau. Hang on. Anyway. Pardon? I've got my very own personal talk show person off camera. I need to get you a mic so you can make your comments, and then we can we need a studio. We need to do the Steven Crowder thing, where you have your own mic and you can sit out a shot and make comments, and every so often we'll cut the camera to you. I will say this. So in the years that I have been in relatively good shape, and for a while there I was a bit bulky in a way that I didn't like. There's some photos of me pre-transition, within the first, within that 3 to 4 months before I started transitioning, where I was a bit bloated, a bit more, because I was dirty bulking. I was trying to put on mass, and then I was just like, holy shit, I don't want to put on mass. I want to be girl. Anyway, yeah, most asthma medication is a form of steroids. The way we define what a steroid is, it's not just build huge muscle, but generally speaking, steroidal usage when it comes to bodybuilding. It's not asthma meds. Anyway, there's a number of people who've come to me saying shit And this is the most frustrating thing. How do I lose belly fat? Eat less, move more. That's the answer to that question. It always has been, it always will be. It's kind of a frustrating thing. What exercises can I do? Can I do sit-ups? Can I do crunches? Can I do this and that? And it's like, you can do those. They'll build they'll build your core strength. Do planks if you want to build your core strength. But ultimately, if you want to lose belly fat, eat less. Eat more salads, eat less carbs overall. You know, that's it. That's basically, you know, there's not really much you can do in that regard. And like when people say to me, like, what exercises can I do to lose fat in these areas? You can't. The only thing you can do is recomp, realistically speaking, which is when you can sort of maintain a certain diet to burn fat at the same time as you're building muscle. And the problem is, like, a lot of people want to burn fat and lose weight at the same time. But if you do certain workout regimens, you are going to burn the fat over time if you stick to the diet and all those kinds of things. But what's going to end up happening is you might not actually lose weight because muscle is denser than fat is. Is it denser? Whatever it is. Basically, you will grow muscle which will be smaller in size, but it'll weigh about the same as a much bigger portion of fat, for example. Like a kilo of fat might be like this big, and a kilo of muscle might be this big, just as an example there. So you will start to look leaner, but you won't see the numbers on the scale go down. And I think, like, generally speaking, if you really wanted to target fat loss specifically, like, you can't target different areas like Ziwa said. But if you did maintain a dietary regimen of strictly eating less calories than you are consuming, strictly eating less calories than you're burning, and primarily focused on cardio, I guess, biking, hiking, jogging, walking, running, whatever, instead of doing any kind of muscle-based routines, you'd probably have a better time losing fat. But yeah. It's a whole thing. There's far more to it than that. You need to commit to replacing your cow milk with these yummy little cherry tomatoes and not bored eating. I have a problem with boredom eating. I do. Yes, she, her, Craig. How you doing? Cool Craig guy, I guess. I love that name. Walk home from work more. Yeah, it's a good start. I bought a treadmill. I will say that. I bought a treadmill to stay on top of my cardio because, you know, HIIT cardio is good. What's LISS cardio? I know what HIIT is. I'm doing that at the moment. At the moment, I'm doing on my treadmill. I'm doing 6 kilometers an hour walking for 2 minutes, then 9 kilometers an hour jog for 1 minute, 6 kilometers an hour for 2 minutes again, then 12 kilometers an hour running for 1 minute, and then 6, 6, 9, 6, 6, 12. That's 1 minute per thing, and then I redo that for like half an hour at this point. And then I do my weighted exercise as well, because I got to try to maintain a little bit of this, you know. Little of these gains for no good reason, because people will ask me to open jars and I fucking can't. And Maddie gets to watch. Low intensity, basically walk at a brisk pace at most for long durations. Okay, so kind of like my old cardio, essentially. So I would walk for about an hour around the neighborhood. And, you know, I'd break a sweat. I'd be burning calories doing it, but it's, you know, nowhere near as intense as what I'm doing now. Because I'm trying to, like... I want to eat less carbs, personally. You can only really do HIIT. Oh, really? Why is that? You started working out at 27, quit training your upper body at 43, but then you were ripped with veins everywhere. Stopped due to me feeling your first conscious dysphoria about your muscular torso. I still deal with, there's... Dysphoria around muscles is strange. Because... the bizarre thing to me is I've always had this particular fascination with muscular women. Like, I do like the look of the muscular feminine physique, and I'd like to have one myself, honestly. But the problem is those girls that I see on Instagram with, like, the same kind of shoulder definition that I've got have also got a really slim and trim midsection with these cut abdominal muscles, and I don't have that. You know, just because I like the look of it doesn't mean I expect that of you, Maddie. I like you just the way you are, okay? That's a weird thing that I have this compulsion with in terms of body image. You know, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, why don't I look like that? And the reason is because those people that you see on Instagram and all of that, they've been doing exactly the right things for exactly the right length of time, for one thing. And chances are for a lot of them it's their job. So it's literally their job to be fit. Most of the time the people I find to be the fittest are the people who are like personal trainers or athletes or things like that. People who is like, you know, they're training 12 hours a day or fucking whatever. I don't know. I do like your midsection. It's good. Essentially, the until exhausted bit has a physio-like effect on my disability that I can attain or can't attain with LISS or static stretching. Insta models give you huge envy. Oh, they do. Envy, it sucks. It fucking sucks. Excuse me. You can't use your Prime sub because it's not working, but if you could, you would have subbed. Thank you so kindly for the thought, Prince. Definitely can't. Okay. That makes sense, yeah. Oh, how did we get onto this? How did we get onto fitness, I wonder? Steroids. How did we get onto steroids? I forget. We're here now. Should we talk about, more so about other trans women? Oh, yeah, true. There was a good tweet jump. There we go, folks. Thank you for gifting us up to Prince. Oh, my God. Oh, my gorgeous. Oh, my goodness. We're going to talk about the Streamlabs thing in just a moment, but first, there was this tweet that I found earlier. I'll see if I can find it quickly. Which was basically about, like, as a trans woman, you're probably going to find certain other trans women to be, like, the hottest trans women you've ever seen. And there's a lot of trans women who are like, oh my God, I'll never look like her. And that trans woman is the same to another trans woman. Like, and I think that applies to cis women too. Like, there's a lot of gorgeous cis women out there who are like, oh my God, I wish I was as beautiful as this person. And it's like, excuse me, bitch, have you seen yourself lately? Like, oh yeah, we were talking about HRT. Yeah, correctly. Correct. We were talking about trans men and how what they take is not steroids necessarily, but they take testosterone replacement therapy. And I dare say, like, probably some of them are taking steroids to get ripped if they wanted to. But yeah, like, generally speaking, yeah, that's how we got onto steroids, and that's how we got into fitness. There we go. So that's kind of neat. Yeah. So trans men, the effects of steroids are a lot more immediately obvious, I would say, or yeah, a lot more immediately obvious. Like, you look at trans men, and, like, generally speaking, I'm not saying this is true of all trans men, but the trans men I've seen generally tend to keep facial hair. And if people see someone with facial hair, they immediately assume man. So that, and, you know, testosterone, again, deepens your voice. So if you are, if you're a trans man, you're probably going to end up with a deeper voice, which, again, helps with that passing thing. Anyway. Smudge, where's Smudge? Where is he? Smudge is curled up on Maddie. Let me see if I can find this particular tweet, because it's rather applicable, I suppose. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, here we go. If you're trans, you probably know at least one trans person who is absolutely hot as fuck and infuriatingly doesn't believe it. And you're like, you are so hot, how can you not know this? Just FYI, I could almost guarantee you are that person to somebody else. It's a fun little thing to fuck your head over. You know, us maybe. Like, both ways. You know, a trans man who wanted facial hair so they could shave it. I mean, that's pretty... that's part of the male experience, isn't it? About that, Abby, you're fucking hot. I know. But sometimes I don't believe it, though. That's the tricky thing. Is, like, I'm aware of the fact that a lot of people find me attractive. A lot of people think I'm physically attractive. Probably emotionally attractive. That's a bad idea. Don't get parasocial with me, you creeps. But, you know, I'm aware of the fact that some people do find me hot, whatever. And it's one of those weird things where it's like, I've always had that issue, no matter if I was presenting male or presenting female, of like, some people find me attractive and I can't fucking figure out what it is, you know? Hey hottie, how's it going, N7? What's going on? They wanted their body to grow facial hair but didn't want a beard, which is, yeah, understandable. You think I'm beautiful? Thank you, Prince. It's my mind and words, boys. Well, there we go. Maybe I should focus more on that and not my appearance. I'm pretty sure Pixel had a tweet on this as well. Keep affirming my... Yeah, keep affirming Z was GF. Let me see. Hang on. I'm pretty sure Pixel had a tweet about this as well, where it's like... let me find it. Talking about the... Here we go. I can kind of... call me Nicole. You put numbers because the name was... I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be like Nicole or N7 Cole, because that's two like completely different identities there. But this tweet in particular, kind of rings true. I grew up with zero self-confidence. Oh my god, me. Never had an opinion. Yeah, honestly, a lot of the time, like if I had opinions, I'd keep them to myself. Awkward as hell. OMG me, GF. Seems like a... Pardon? Hey, Fairy Queen Kiri, how's it going? It seems like a cruel poetic twist that people may only be listening to me now because I'm nice to look at for some. Which is a thing, you know. It's a privilege and a curse and eventually a non-existent problem, I guess. It's an interesting thing to think about. We've discussed the pretty privilege thing before, right? Hey, Gunther, how you doing? You know, plenty of trans women who hate kids and don't want children but would want to be able to get pregnant. Yeah, I've heard that too. It's not a thing that I'm particularly interested in, maybe because I've never wanted children, but here I am being a parent anyway. Oops, I did that. Too late now. But yeah, quite specifically, I always had this thing where I'm like, I don't want to have children. And since transitioning, like, I don't have any desire to get the organs necessary to give me the propensity to have children. But, you know, I guess I can understand how some people might go for that. There's that old joke that was getting around for a bit, where it was like, I want to be the first. I want to go be the first trans woman to get a womb transplant, so I can be the first trans woman to have an abortion, or something like that. It's like freaking dark joke. Like, let's be real with ourselves. But, you know. I don't think we have to worry about anybody getting knocked up here. Yeah, anyway. My appearance is lovely also, but there are so many pretty people who have nothing to say. That's true too, which is, it feels kind of mean to say. But you can't deny that at the same time. And there are some people who capitalize on that notion that, you know, they are... I think... I'm not going to name any names. I'm just not going to name any names. But I've heard of a few streamers. I've seen footage of some of these streamers and YouTubers and the like, who have very much fed into the idea that they're an airheaded, I have no opinions kind of person, because there's an audience for that kind of thing, you know. I personally couldn't do that because I'm way too opinionated, but yeah, there's this whole thing. I think it's tricky being someone who like gets this is where it gets weird, because I've never had too many compliments on my appearance before I came out, and since coming out I've gotten fucking tons, to the point where it's hard to not believe what's being said to you when you see it all the time, you know, which is true also of negative comments. If you're constantly seeing negative comments directed towards you, it's hard to not believe those things either. You know, so if you get tons of good comments, it's nice to focus on the optimistic, on the positive, but the negative is also true. You begin to take in this information. So, generally speaking, I do think I've got some degree of pretty privilege. You know, where it makes it weird. Where it's like, but I'd also like to be taken seriously for my thoughts and opinions. I guess maybe I'm mostly here to entertain people. You know. You live the latter half of your life in the understanding that you have pretty privilege, largely because if I wasn't, I sure as fucking shit, because if I didn't, sure as fucking shit know it. The most attractive thing about you is you're intelligent but also funny. Thank you kindly, by the way. I'm just sitting here gloating about myself. Somebody said recently, stop thirst following boring people, and I agree. Children are a serious responsibility. Yeah, I mean, I am a half-time parent. Like 50% of the time, I am parenting. I got my kids tomorrow, so... Oh, hydration's good. That's a good idea. Thank you. There we go. You love laying here and listening to my voice through the doorway. Aww. Maddie's so sweet. I like Maddie a lot. Anyway. You're invisible as a man, and now you're getting compliments from women, and although affirming unwanted attention from men. That's a strange thing. That's a weird thing to put your head around. Excuse me. As a trans woman, right? Don't know why I'm doing this with my hand. I've had the unwanted attention from men thing several times. In one instance, it was a particularly creepy engagement, right? But you know, I've had people wolf whistle at me. I've had people call things at me. And yeah, there was the one time where a creepy man followed me to my car. That was terrifying. But it is a weird, like, you don't want that thing to affirm your gender, but at the same time, it's just like, oh, am I passing? This is clearly categorically not a good thing. You know, I don't like this. But at the same time, I don't know. How do you respond to that? You know, what do you say to that? People are creepy AF. They are. Hello, Mercadian. How you doing? We'll get into Streamlabs in a second. We've got a couple of tweets here we can look at. So anyway, how are you doing? The only thing you've ever been yelled at was the F slur from Cars. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, I feel like I wouldn't enjoy being called the F slur, but you know, unless, well, not by anyone but the GF, you know, in a light-hearted context. My little bundle of sticks. Fucking A. All right, so lady don't burp. Yes, I do. He transmask NB. Here's a thought to the NBs in chat. Do you like the term NB? Or do you prefer strictly non-binary? Because I say NB a lot. And I don't think about the fact that, you know, the NBs might have something to say about that. The non-binary folks, I should say, instead of just continuing to say it. So my boyfriend's friends will give me mass compliments, and it makes me feel weird because I don't know if they're flirting actually, or if they actually think of me as a guy. That's a strange one, yeah. A partner can teasingly call me the F slur, yeah. You think NB is cuter? It is cuter, you know. Kind of like wolf whistle, even though I shouldn't, but it shows I'm passing. I know, right? It's like, do I should act enraged at this, but realistically speaking, you know. Not MBB, no, a streamer who uses bean as a gender-neutral term to refer to anyone. Oh, that's neat. I try to use gender-neutral terms like folks and stuff. But anyway, some aren't happy with the cute NB trope. You're a cute NB, you fit the trope. I mean, yeah, it's whatever you feel comfortable with, really. Call Abby the F slur as an insult when she's being It's fun though. Going through a deep depression right now with conflicting feelings. Fully accepted / came out as bi earlier this year, but now I might be a lesbian, and also just a few months ago came out as MB. I'm not sure if I'm ready for a lifetime of loneliness because queer people are hard to find in my country. But at the same time, you're happy because you're finding yourself. That's a tricky thing, isn't it? I'm not sure, like, I wish I had the proper advice for that kind of situation. It sounds like a lot. It sounds like there's a lot going through your head right now, which would be difficult to deal with. I completely understand from the depression side of things. Who do you talk to? Who do you reach out to? And I mean, having places like this can be good because you can find friends. They don't even get another chance. Yeah, no, that person was just here to be an asshole. They can fuck off. Just that spammer's name was offensive. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hang on. Where were we? Probably don't fit the trope, but cis presentation is usually more practical anyway. I mean, isn't Thought Slime like gender fluid or non-binary or something along those lines? And has defined themselves as like gender fluid, but basically presenting as a dude most of the time, or at least in public or what have you. It can be hard finding accepting people. And again, depending on where you are located, you know, certain places in the world will just simply not accept queer folks across the board, which is, you know, this is the problem when it comes to discussions around queer identity online. Gender fluid presents as a guy, I think, yeah, pretty much. Like, I've seen Thought Slime goes by Mildred's most of the time, I think. This is where it's tricky, because I'm not 100% sure of what Thought Slime's identity. Well, pronoun, any and all pronouns. So I just use they in that circumstance, because if I'm not sure of someone's pronouns, I default to they, because gender neutral. Which someone might have an issue with, but they can fuck off. It literally means gender neutral pronoun. Anyway. What was I going to... There was a point I was on. Oh, yeah, like... We over here in the West, here in Australia, over in places like America, and yes, the UK, and various other countries where queerness is broadly accepted. We have a very, very distinct advantage, a very, very distinct privilege, in that we're allowed to be out and proudly queer without necessarily facing... Like, there's still a significant degree of institutional, what's the word? Like, there's still a lot of institutional issues that queer people face, right? Especially over in the UK and the US, where there's literally people chasing legislation to remove the rights of transgender people, right? And then, as we saw with... was it Texas or somewhere in the US? They passed some anti-trans legislation and immediately jumped to let's repeal the sodomy laws or whatever it was and remove gay marriage. Like, they immediately just went straight to that. Right? So while we do have some distinct privilege in the Western world, there are still a lot of people who would not like us to exist. And then when you get to queer discourse, especially on like Twitter and things like that, or YouTube comment sections, Facebook, wherever, and you mentioned, like, over in the West, we're still dealing with that oppression. We're still dealing with the fact that there are people who've got power. Oh, yeah, it went from abortion to sodomy law. Sorry. My mistake. So, you know, when we say we want things to be a lot safer for queer folks over in, may you find your worth in the Western world. When you say you want, you know, TERFs to stop trying to take away trans people's rights in the UK, and you say we want... kids to be able to play sports in schools, even if they're trans, in the US, and yada yada. Like, we want to be able to express our gender identity and our sexuality freely without being oppressed for it. People will then go, oh, well, why don't you go try living over in the Middle East where they'll fucking cut your head off for it? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Why did that come into this? Yeah, what does that sound like? That sounds like they want us to go to a country where we'll fucking die. And I'm like, that's not... You're literally just feeding into exactly what we're talking about when you say that kind of thing. You're literally just... Yeah, it's very much a get over it, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Oh, things are tougher over in other countries. It's like when a parent who's got the privilege of feeding their kids says to their kid, there's children over in Africa who are starving right now. When your kid doesn't eat their dinner, it's like, it doesn't help the situation. It's like, yeah, shit's bad in other countries, but like, shit's bad here too. Guess what? Little Jimmy doesn't want to eat his Brussels sprouts because they're fucking shit. I'm sorry. That's a real problem for him. It's just veiled racism. It basically is. It really, really is. And that's why I always say bigotry is intersectional. A lot of these bigotries all just overlap. If you find, and this is particularly true of certain subsects of, well, I mean, you could just say just generally gender criticals, TERFs, whatever. Broadly speaking, you could look at some of the things, like you follow certain, pardon? I don't know. I haven't read. I'm on a tangent. You look at certain sections of TERF discourse online and you'll notice a lot of anti-Semitic dog whistles. Like, all of this stuff crosses over. Anyway, funny thing is, Middle East country is a big place and not everywhere is a literal war zone. Yeah, it's just Islamophobia, basically. The US in particular has like the most ridiculous ends of extremes. I have no idea who you are, I-17 cops, and you called me Abigail, so I'm not going to read the rest of that. I need to exist, sorry, I'll belong wherever I am. Exactly! Exactly. Like, what does that solve? You know? Aside from... it's like, let's bring this back around to, like... one of the big issues I have, of course, is there are so many people who think it's just so easy for people who are struggling, people who are living below the poverty line and who would absolutely love to have a job, but when they complain about the fact that the system doesn't really benefit them and help them to get jobs, or they'll say, you know, oh man, I'm really struggling, I can barely afford my rent, I can barely afford my bills, or I'm on the verge of homelessness and all this, and they get met with the bullshit like, get a real job then, why don't you get a job then? It's like, there's not enough jobs. And there are, one of the major problems, it's the same argument being thrown. It's like, oh, what are you complaining about? Why don't you just get a job? Why don't you just get a real job? Or whatever. A lot of people can't. For various reasons. There's a lot of things that are standing in people's way. Disability is a huge one. There are a lot of people who are actually legitimately unable to work most standard jobs because those jobs are not accessible. And yet good jobs, ones that will pay you enough to have a livable wage, are incredibly rare. You know, it's not as though you can just go and get a job running checkout for 12 hours a week at the supermarket, and then in like you can't just set like a 5-year plan to eventually be the regional manager and have it made, which even then the regional manager's probably not making that much, but still, you know, it'll be a full-time position. They'll be getting paid relatively well, enough to pay their bills at least. But there are not enough of those jobs. There are not enough of those jobs that are making people livable wages independently, individually, you know. I shouldn't have this Streamlabs banner here because we're supposed to be trashing on Streamlabs. We haven't gotten to it yet. Stream's been going for 40 minutes. Anyway. Anyway, can't even make friends here. Everyone's literally queerphobic in my country and neighboring countries, especially online. Some dude told me that straight people aren't the norm. Aren't the norm? Aren't the norm? Okay. Anyway. Still... Sorry, I tweeted about the Rittenhouse trial and we never covered it. I'm so sorry. You like my lipstick? It's a good one. Hey, it's purple. It's a dark purple. I love it. Anyway, Centrelink literally forbids me to work over 30 hours. Used to be 8 a week. Jesus. Anyway. Not earning a mortgage job. Yeah, exactly. There's not enough jobs for mortgages. There's not enough jobs for people to get into a position where they can easily afford a home loan these days. That was a nice one. That was a fucking good one. Why are you in here being a misogynist, dude? You've made another account. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Is this your third account? Chill out, mate. Relax, alright? And yes, Mercadian, that is just the bootstraps argument. There's simply not enough... do you care about Streamlabs? I mean, we haven't gotten to it yet. We're talking about the jobs market at the moment. Anyway. And the big fat kind companies and billionaires are trying to poison the well against universal basic income because they're terrified they won't be able to blackmail people into making them profits, yes. 24-second... Oh, well, you're trying to do a 24-hour ban. Okay. You have to do it in seconds. So if you do 600 seconds, it's a 10-minute timeout. Anyway, Extreme Bunch 2 in this past month has been an onslaught of trolls. Well, it's better than the hate raids, honestly. I mean, the hate raids were really bad, but we're not in that sort of territory anymore at the moment. We need a fun troll to beat up. Struggled to find a job for... There you go. 86,400 seconds is one day. Struggled to find a job for 3 years, so reluctantly went self-employed, but it's a struggle still. I mean, that's the thing, that this is effectively my job, you could say. You know, I'm definitely not making rent-paying, bill-paying income off Twitch, but this is a source of income. That's why I keep streaming. You know, it's not why I enjoy doing the content. I enjoy streaming as a thing, but I'm not one of those people who goes live and streams video games to get maybe 15 subs a month or something. I stream because I enjoy the content, I enjoy the format, and I enjoy talking to you fine folks. So You know, and I think there is some degree of hope in this, but probably not to the extent where I would eventually be able to turn this into a real job. And when I say a real job, that's a really strange term. That's a really bizarre term to use because, again, that throws back to what we were saying before about how many real jobs are there, realistically speaking. Nice. Why not? /chant nice. Not with Twitch taking half. Yeah, exactly. Like, realistically speaking, Twitch should be giving its broadcasters a lot more income. If I ever want to afford GCS, I have to live with my parents, and I ain't doing that until I have a motorbike / car and license to escape my mother's BS, which is completely understandable. Anyway. Lately, we've literally been all like, fuck subs. I mean, I agree. I agree with the whole notion of, yeah, sub off Twitch. Don't do it through Streamlabs. Please use Coffee. At least Coffee haven't proven to be shit cunts. I'm going to have to get rid of the little Streamlabs banner now because Streamlabs is my chatbot and it's my Streamlabels thing. So I'm going to have to get rid of those now. But anyway, use Coffee. Like, I mean, honestly, as much as I do appreciate to a huge extent the people who give me subs and the fact that it does do something on the Twitch end of things, like it really does. It, you know, a lot of people love getting subs. They get the little sub badge, they get the emotes, they get to watch the stream without ads. You know, that's all good shit. But unfortunately, you pay $5 a month to quote a certain streamer who I'm sure some of you dislike. I like just using the $5 thing. The streamer's only going to get $2.50, and like let's say for example here in Australia it's $7.99 per sub or something like that. So as the streamer, I'm probably going to get $4, but then tax comes out of that as well. And ultimately, yeah, it's, you know, if you were going to give $8 to me as the streamer, if supporting the streamer by buying like a big batch of gift subs was your goal, the better option would be to spend that exact same amount of money on like stuff like Coffee, you know, because Coffee doesn't take a cut. That's just a direct tip. Anyway, we'll talk about Streamlabs in a sec. Loves that Streamlabs is in the title and in the rolling support widget. I should get rid of it. I should get rid of the and like this over here is a Streamlabs widget too. I should get rid of it out of this though. I got rid of what else did I got rid of the fan house widget that I had. I can actually go to Streamlabs right now, and I'm probably gonna fiddle around with my stuff on the weekend and switch off Streamlabs because this is not the first time they've done something pretty fucking atrocious, honestly. This is not new that they are shit cunts, but unfortunately I have no integrity. So, you know, I keep using the shit that I'm used to. But hang on, let me just go to this for a second. So here's the thing. I'm not sure about this one. So I'll get rid of the Streamlabs banner and I'll save that. So it's gone. Streamlabs is cancelled. Anyway, how are you, Chloe? What's going on? What's the news? We're going to talk about that. We're going to go into the... we're going to talk about that. What happened to the boobs fund? That's a bit personal. I'll talk about that eventually at some point. I eventually decided I don't want... Oh, hello. Haley, you were this close. Smallest snail in existence is 0.7 millimeters tall. Fucking Christ. Anyway, let's talk about this. This meme went up by Lightstream today. A powerful and intuitive streaming studio in your browser. No downloads, no technical wizardry. Start streaming at golightstream.com, right? And they posted this. Hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just changed up a bit so it's not obvious you copied. Bet.
Another round.
Hey, Haley. Thank you for the 32 bits. So we got this here. Let's open this image in a different tab. So this is Lightstream's little, I think this is their website, right? Automatically add overlays, alerts, and other media every time you go live. Personalize your console stream. And then over here on Streamlabs Studio, automatically add overlays, alerts, and other media every time you go live. And it's the same thing the whole way down. On their website, all Streamlabs has done over here is just change the text, right? So just personalize Xbox and PlayStation streams. Personalize Xbox streams to Twitch without a capture card. Our drag and drop editor allows for unlimited projects. Our drag and drop editor allows for unlimited projects. Like, it's just the same text. They've changed the images. And I think, like, this is the thing. Streamlabs has responded. Here we go. So, of course, it looks bad. Streamlabs published this. So this is for Streamlabs' own studio app that they're doing. Or studio website that they're doing. And here's their response to this. We made a mistake. Text on the landing page was a placeholder text that went into production by error. This is our fault. We removed the text as soon as we found out. Our intended version is now live. Lightstream team is great. And we've reached out directly to them to apologize. And yeah, like you made a mistake, like when you took open source software, changed the UI and put it behind a paywall, or when you copied Elgato's Stream Deck app, or when you subscribe users to your premium service without their consent. I'm pretty sure there's a news article about this we can find. The fact that they changed the images strongly indicates that it's not just placeholder text. So yeah, Streamlabs has, you know, kind of messed up, and it's not the first time. Let's see if we can find this. Is it here? Is it this one? Thing to Google for that is Streamlabs Plus. That might be it. Yeah, so basically, users who were putting their card details into Streamlabs, if I recall correctly. Let's see. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's not giving me the results I want. Streamlabs Pro subscription warning. Here we go. Here we go. This was a few years ago, right? So this is not the first time that Streamlabs has been caught doing some shady shit. Shortly after donating to a streamer I enjoy, I got a confirmation email stating I had 72 hours to cancel my subscription. I never recalled signing up for anything, so I, of course, started the cancellation process. In doing so, the very helpful customer service rep, I mean that very helpful, instructed me that there were 2 warnings before completing the purchase. Somehow I had completely overlooked it. So I went to retrace my steps. Below is an explanation of how I accidentally signed up for Pro and likely why others have fallen for it too. So if we go through this, part 1, here's where it starts. By donating a certain amount, $3 USD, it will pop up a green banner that tells you you've qualified to add a custom gift to the donation. Right? Since I've never done this before, I thought, why not? Pay close attention to the box next to donation gifts below the green banner. That's your first sign something additional is going on. You are donating to use gifts. So what does it say? So pay close attention to the box next to donation gifts. Pro. So it says Pro there, just like, you know. So you basically end up signing yourself up. And then the next bit over here. Part 2, when you go to confirm purchase. Here we go. You'll be charged $5.99 a month by joining Streamlabs Pro, which allows you to add special effects and other features to your alerts. You're off to bed because capitalism. So yeah, this is not the first time Streamlabs has done some sort of... This is more obvious. This is more egregious, though. They're obviously just, you know, cut and pasting. They're being lazy. They're plagiarizing. And then this over here, just to add more damning evidence to the pile, because we might as well. The process is to generally use placeholder images and replace the text first. So here we go. If we come back to this, the team at Streamlabs should be ashamed, not satisfied enough to write OBS project's hard work, now to copy ours down to the layout and every word on our marketing side and our UX in this product. Near the launch of Streamlabs OBS, Streamlabs reached out to us to ask about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyway and followed up by filing a trademark. We've tried to sort this out in private and they've been uncooperative at every turn. We're often faced with confused users and even companies who do not understand the difference between the two apps. Support volunteers are sometimes met with angry users demanding refunds. We've had interactions with several companies who did not realize the apps were separate. Legally, they have obeyed the terms of the GPL, but they have repeatedly disregarded the spirit of open source and giving back. By the way, good night, Kez. I forgot to say that. I'm sorry. Despite these actions by Streamlabs, the OBS project will continue to provide free open source software and tools for everybody. Open software, sorry. Excuse me. We will continue to support our users, the community, and our amazing developers for their hard work. And as you've said here, Marcos, Slobs is just a jerry-rigged version of OBS with a slap of paint, which shit literally is. Like, if you've used OBS and if you've used Streamlabs OBS, you can tell they are basically the same app with some Streamlabs functionality just jammed into it. It's the same exact thing. Like, it's an OBS is open source, of course, and Streamlabs has just taken the whole software, stuck their shit in the side of it, and then put it out to market, and then added a subscription service on top of that, which they can coerce you into using without you really realizing it. And then, of course, the laziness continues with this thing, with the light stream thing. I mean, you would have every reason to be skeptical of Streamlabs at this point. It's hard to be surprised that a major piece of software used by a lot of streamers would have some questionable ethics behind it. You know. And yeah, OBS is way better than Streamlabs OBS, in my opinion, too. Like, it's quite good. This is the problem, is like, I use Streamlabs OBS for this. I use Streamlabs widgets for this and this, sorry. So I've got my sub goal is Streamlabels, and this thing is Streamlabs' sponsor banner feature. So if I wanted to change the way things look on my screen, I'd need to just ditch those, and then my bot is Streamlabs chatbot. So I'm kind of like, unfortunately, pretty indentured into this shit. So if I wanted to change everything, I'm not doing it this week. I'll do it on the weekend maybe, but you know. Pretty sure it's open knowledge that Slobs is an actual fork of OBS. But people who are new to this whole thing, to streaming or anything like that, are not going to be aware of that. They'll see the OBS thing and they'll think it's the same functionality, unfortunately. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. For a while I think I did too. Yeah, I thought there was like an affiliation there. I thought they actually had an association with Streamlabs. I did not know until recently. And the fact they keep pulling this, even though they got bought by Logitech for $89 million, exactly. So you would think they would have a little bit more integrity than this, at least like legally. Like, this is a major fuck up, honestly. This could backfire significantly, and it has. Like, let's just say, for example, the community decides to rally against Streamlabs in this instance. Logitech ain't going to be happy about that, are they? Banner just looks like an OBS slideshow. I mean, I might be able to do it. I don't know. Can I do that? Oh, yeah, I can do an image slideshow. I could. It literally could be. Yeah, you're right. I could just add that in. I mean, you can't click on the banners, so fuck it. I think you're allowed to resell open source software depending on the license. Yeah. It's more that the Streamlabs reached out about the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to, and they did so anyway. So whoever it is that's operating Streamlabs, whoever it is that's behind the scenes here, really doesn't care if they fuck over someone else. So yeah, it's legal. They're just being... It's like... There are plenty of things that you're legally allowed to do, but there are many people like... But, you know, a lot of people would look at it and say, oh, it's pretty unethical to do that thing. You know. So it's the same thing here. It's like they can legally do this, but is it the right thing to do? No. OBS is very DIY. Slobs is like pick a template. Yeah, pretty much. Which is why it's appealing to a lot of people. Many folks in streaming, when they're just getting into it, will probably get recommended Streamlabs OBS by their friends because Streamlabs OBS is very accessible. You can just jump right into it. At best, you might need a few graphics made up, but even then, like was mentioned, there's templates there that you can just pick from. What they did wasn't illegal, but they were actually dicks about it even within that framework, yeah. And yeah, legal does not equal moral. I mean, slavery was legal for a while there, wasn't it? I doubt most of us are pro-slavery because it was legal at the time. From Logitech's perspective, if they encourage more people to stream, they get to sell more cameras, etc. Well, yeah, like, it's a good investment for them, but to the same end, you know, if this causes a significant enough backlash, and I mean... Looking at this, right, this is 46,000 likes on this, 18,000 retweets. So people are seeing the backlash to this, people are seeing the backlash to the Lightstream thing. It's getting attention. It's maybe not getting enough attention that it's going to make a significant enough dent in Streamlabs' income, but it's considerable at the very least. People on the right do defend slavery because it was legal at the time. Why do you think I used that example? And yeah, cops are allowed to do all kinds of stuff to us. What happened with Streamlabs? They're being wankers. Basically, they're being a bunch of wankers. They basically copy-pasted Lightstream's website. And they have had a history of signing people up to their subscription service subversively. What else did we discover? What else have we... oh yeah, they used OBS's... what's he? They used OBS's name despite OBS saying, please don't do that. We don't want you to do that, thank you. But they did it anyway. Said, hey, can we use your name? OBS said, no, please don't. And then Streamlabs said, well, fuck you. I'm going to do it because I want to. Anyway. Oh, I don't think it's not that selling a fork of OBS is without wanting to condone OBS. Like they're allowed to do that. You know, they're allowed to do that. But it's more the fact that they use the OBS name in Streamlabs OBS is the problem, right? So they could have called Streamlabs OBS something else, but they decided specifically to go to OBS and say, can we use the name Streamlabs OBS? Can we use the OBS in there? And OBS said no, right? And then Streamlabs just went, well, fuck ya. That's the problem. They said fuck ya, and then they went and sold it anyway, right? So like I agree with what you're saying. Like, yes, Streamlabs could have absolutely created this software, or created their fork of the software and went and sold that. But they could have used a different name. Like they just had, and this is the thing, they had literally should be called Streamlabs BS broadcast software. And this is the thing, is like, this proves just how lazy Streamlabs is as a company. Like, it's so incredibly lazy to not say to yourselves, oh, okay, OBS said no, let's just quickly take an afternoon to brainstorm a new name that's catchy. And they didn't even do that. And then they go ahead and they do this shit with Lightstream, where they just literally copy paste their entire setup. And all they do is change some graphics. That's it. That's all they did. They did the laziest fucking shit. Like, how many people are working at Streamlabs to justify this level of laziness? You know? Is it like, what, 3 of them? Are there 3 of them and they're underpaid and they work 12 hours a week? What's going on here? What's the deal? You know? Not that registering a trademark makes a difference. OBS has obvious pre-existing use of their name. Yeah, exactly. So I think, who was it that said, like, the Streamlabs part, the SL part is the trademark, is it? Did I read that correctly, or have I misinterpreted? SL registered slobs. Oh, SL registered slobs as a trademark, yes. So they don't have any sort of legal precedent over OBS itself. It's actually an invalid registration for that reason. Oh, really? More profit for least effort, typical capitalism. This is like the most minimal effort you could put in. Honestly, you can make a more unique website with a Wix template. Do it. Just do it. Yeah, but here we are. Where were we? They literally charged me $150 a year for a year of premium slobs, and refused to give me a refund even though I didn't get a notification of the charge. Jesus Christ. Don't forget that Streamlabs chatbot is former AnkBot. I knew that. I thought they acquired it. They might not have. They might not have. Which wouldn't shock me. So AnkBot is joining the Streamlabs family. Dashboard, chat, custom commands, yada yada yada. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm like, am I missing something here? Like, that's not really all that damning. They acquired AnkBot. You know? Well, yeah, it's bad when they say family. I don't think this is really evidence against Streamlabs. Am I misinterpreting this? I remember AnkBot being acquired by Streamlabs. Like, they actually got brought over and it was turned into Streamlabs chatbot. That's not really that big of a deal. I don't think, like, there was an agreement made there. Anyway. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that, but anyway. Like, given all the other damning shit we've seen, the chatbot really isn't that big of an issue by comparison. Would anyone else pay good money for a 3D studio version of OBS that is having a live 3D environment that you can do things in? There probably are a few people that would, yeah. Or rather, OBS has the right to usurp the registration as the clear predecessor and larger entity, or would in Australia. I wonder what kind of precedent they would have in Australia necessarily. Hey everyone, we haven't gone back to the Lightstream thing. We genuinely appreciate the signal boost, support, and meme share tonight. I might actually take a look at Lightstream. It doesn't seem like given it seems like it's mainly focused on console streaming, it's not really going to help me that much. For those who don't know who we are or what we've done, please let us introduce ourselves. And if you're looking for new alerts, chatbot donations, data, or game key applications, check out our free Rainmaker service. And yeah, there's this thing here. Know that feel. Control your live stream from your phone with Streamlabs Stream Deck. They literally just took the name. Forgot about this. They just literally copied Stream Deck. There we go. It's a bit confusing from a user's perspective, but they have local and cloud-based bot. Oh, okay. Supercharge the growth of your Twitch channel with automated TikTok clips. Automatically convert Twitch clips to TikTok with cross-clip. From Streamlabs, yet again. For anyone who thinks the user reviews are fakes, the Lightstream ones aren't. How do I know? I was the one who got them from users. That's pretty cool. There we go. Lightstream is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Love this platform. And oh my god, no way. No way. No, you're kidding. Oh my god, I didn't notice this. Let's come back up for a second. The user reviews. I didn't see this. The user reviews over here. Okay, so Brandon has said that he gathered the user reviews for Lightstream. So Lightstream is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you so much for making it so easy. Love this platform. Love how they listen to their community. And then the Streamlabs one over here. They've literally just like Control F replaced Lightstream with Streamlabs Studio in the user review. And change the names. Like, there's no way. There's no fucking way that Streamlabs was intending for anyone to figure this out and to drag them like this. They thought they could get away with it because they're bigger than Lightstream. I guarantee you they thought they could get away with it. I didn't see the reviews. It's all just plagiarism. They've plagiarized. They have cut and pasted. They've made a few little cuts here and there, like Lightstream Studio Gamer projects currently support Twitch broadcasts from Xbox One X and S, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Over here, it's the same exact text, except they've gotten rid of the PlayStation ones for whatever reason. Remote control from your couch, remote control from your couch. Create different preset scenes, create different preset scenes. Then the reviews. Layout and design control, layout and design control. Cloud capture, cloud capture. How does it work? Activate personalized stream. Activate personalized stream. Like it's the same exact thing. But they've just made a few little changes here and there. They've put their name in where Lightstream's name is. They've changed the names on these reviews. They've changed a few little bits of text to make it just slightly different. Yeah, but they didn't do enough and they got caught out on it. They copied the layout. It's egregious. You mean Streamlabs just takes other people's stuff and slaps a different coat of paint on it, kind of like how they took an open source project, tweaked the UI, and put it behind a paywall? Fucking wild. Who'da thunk it? Anyway. If I had the skills, I'd work with OBS to make a streamlined version of OBS for new streamers to ease into the software. That's a good idea, actually. You could, I mean, well, you said if you had the skills, I suppose. I was going to say just do it, you know. If you could just do it, yeah. Contact them. Call it Streamline OBS. Would you be allowed to do that though? You wouldn't be able to abbreviate it to slobs. You wouldn't be able to do that. Somehow I feel like the company with $89 million of Logitech money would probably step on your throat for that one. I hadn't even thought of that. I was thinking of people using their cams and green screens and putting themselves into an environment. Well, yeah, that would be cool too. I've seen people do similar stuff like that already, but it's usually like a pre-rendered scene as a video file playing in the background, or just, you know, an image. I've fiddled around with that stuff with green screen, but the problem is like green screen takes up a lot of space. So yeah, there's a whole lot here. Also think a big conversation that needs to happen is us as a society raising our knowledge and standards. Not everything needs to be easy. Sometimes people need to try and learn stuff. I think this honestly comes back around to the whole difficulty in gaming discourse. I'm itching my calf because my calf is itchy. I know, I shouldn't be doing it. yeah, like this comes back around to the whole like Dark Souls is too hard and needs an easy mode kind of thing, where it's like I can see the perspective of yeah, like maybe it's better if like oh, what was I going to say? Maybe it's better if there is a version of, like, say, streaming software like OBS, where it's a bit more gate-kept behind. You need to figure out how everything works and how it goes together. But I don't think there's any issue with there also being a similar software that allows people to ease into streaming, because streaming is an approachable hobby for a lot of people. It's very appealing. It's very attractive. And I think by virtue of it, and this is the thing, like the more popular things become, this is why, sorry, I can't, I'm itchy. This is why the difficulty in Dark Souls discourse even kicked off in the first place. Because, as you know, Dark Souls kind of skyrocketed to popularity, right? And then Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, From Software over the past 10 years has radically increased in popularity to the point where they're a household name, right? So people know what Dark Souls is, and people are aware there are other games that emulate Dark Souls that try to do that, you know, sort of very challenging kind of gameplay. And as a result, what the discourse becomes is, this game is too hard and there are too many barriers to entry, right? But the thing is, and I'm going to say, like, with my time with the Elden Ring network test, I will say there are a few things that From Software have added that seem like they sort of veer into making the game a little bit easier for newer players. And the reality of the situation is, like, if let's just say, for example, they were to do a remaster of Dark Souls and add an easy mode of some description, or add a class that starts out a little bit more boosted, or whatever it is, just maybe they just do literally add an easy mode. I don't care. At the end of the day, there's still going to be the hard mode, the default difficulty, or again that thing of like you control the buttons you press sort of thing. And I think it's that factor of, as something becomes more popular, people are going to want to make it more accessible, to make it to make it more accessible, to make more people to give more people the opportunity to engage with that thing. And that could be true of software like OBS, or similar things to Streamlabs that are not a massive ripoff, you know. Anyway, it's hard to generalize any of this, but there are definitely people who want to master things in 5 seconds, and when that doesn't happen, they quit. That's on them, not the thing. Well, yeah, exactly. But in this particular regard, like making things more accessible to people, with regards to, I might be comparing apples to oranges. I think there is a comparison to be made here with regard to, a lot of people want to get into streaming, and I don't think it's a bad thing for there to be an accessible streaming software. It's distinctly better, of course, if you have something like OBS, which doesn't hold your hand, I guess, because I am one of those people who is kind of a Dark Souls purist, you know, just get good. But realistically speaking, if they make certain software easier to use, then more people have the opportunity to use it and make use of all of its functionalities over time. Or maybe like having ease of access without having things so gratuitously gatekept behind requiring a degree to use them might actually foster curiosity and allow people to develop those skills themselves. They might have the opportunity to look at, okay, this piece of software has got a lot of functions I want to use, right? And I would like to discover exactly how to use all of those functions. Doing stuff in your off time for fun is not the same as productivity software. Your membership. Wowie, Magic Mia, how you going? Thank you for the sub. Thank you for the 5 months of Tier 1. In your off time for... Well, what would you consider streaming, though? Because considering that is the basis for what we're talking about right now. Like, why should there not be some kind of accessible streaming software options? Why is Streamlabs cancelled? Because they copy-pasted a bunch of shit. If we go back up this. Not just this, there's a whole bunch of other things. People are dragging Streamlabs right now. Because Lightstream is the... Oh, I've got the page over here. Lightstream is this streaming service which you use from your browser. Which allows you to personalize your console streams. And Streamlabs has just copy-pasted it right down to the website layout. All of it's, like, the text is copied, everything, to summarize. Amid, you know, ripping off Stream Deck and ripping off streamers. It's more comparable to Adobe Premiere or Photoshop. Wait, with regards to OBS, do you mean? There's a lot more. As a dev, you can verify that. Challenge aesthetics are a fundamental framework that encourages gameplay as a matter of ego, and ego means the mindset of, if I can learn a difficult thing, so can you, which impacts accessibility. Accessibility options are just that, options. Whether it's for work or leisure, accessibility only improves the user base, hence the parallel. Oh my god, what is with these damn bots lately? There should be easy to use streaming software, is what I'm saying, yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There should be easy to use streaming software. However, there should be options that are not Streamlabs. And my thing is, like, there should be something that's like OBS. Honestly, I'd like to see someone just develop a plugin for OBS that has a lot, like, someone just do to Streamlabs what Streamlabs did to everybody else. Just steal what they've done and chuck it into a plugin for OBS. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. So they plagiarized marketing copy, not the software itself. Pretty much. Where was the... And there was more too, like the... where is it? The OBS thing. OBS's response to the Lightstream thing. Yeah, like there's this thing. Is Slobs a Chromium thing? Slobs is Streamlabs OBS. Near the launch of Streamlabs OBS, Streamlabs reached out to us about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyway. So it's more just generally speaking that Streamlabs tends to be a pretty unethical company. They'll take other people's ideas and then just incorporate them into their own without asking permission, without doing things. Got to change more than that to pass assignments. Yeah, it's just straight up plagiarism. Anyway, writing a novel like your name is Mark Twain. What? But yeah, the point I was making with the Dark Souls thing is that, like, say for example OBS and then obviously subsequently Slobs, is that, you know, originally OBS, and it still is now, is not really prohibitively hard to use, but it's definitely not the most accessible software. You need to know what you're doing. You need to actually have a broader understanding of things. But what Streamlabs has done, and like what I do understand to be a good thing about Streamlabs, is it makes all that stuff streamlined. You know, so a lot of what you have in Streamlabs OBS is accessibility options. You can set up your stream with scenes and all, like, overlays and all that relatively easily. And I think that concept of having a streaming software that allows new streamers to get into it is unequivocally a good thing. Which is the same thing with the Dark Souls thing, where it's like Dark Souls was hard originally, but as it got more popular, more people wanted to play it. And now, like, as we look at, as the games have progressed, they have actually added various options to make the games arguably easier. Or a car analogy, OBS is stick, Slobs is automatic. Yeah, maybe. Is there such a thing as an ethical company under capitalism? There's not, realistically speaking, but we can call out the unethical behavior when we see it. At least the other companies tend to be a little bit more under the table about their unethical things, you know. Anyway, your brother came out as gay yesterday. Well, poggers for them. For him. Yeah, there we go. Congratulations to your brother, that is. That's nice to hear. You reckon the better option for things like easier Dark Souls is just separate IP that has other additional appeal? I mean, I agree with that too. More options is always good, you know. Hey, thank you for the 5 bits, Tammy. Why didn't that come up? Anyway. We love to see more gayness in the world. We do. I've got a bit of gay over here. Well, got a bit of trans and a bit of gay. And a little bit of gay out there, you know. Thank you for the hydration, by the way. There are ways to do things without crushing or dismissing others. Agreed, agreed, agreed. Looper redeemed hugs. Can I have hugs? I may have hugs. It's almost break time. I've got about 10 minutes. Hello. Are you able to get in the shop now? My cat's just splayed out on the floor. Radio Dis, have a good one. Speaking of the little gay out there, we got little gays. Maddie and I are little gays. Anyway. Want to say, aside from trolls, you love this chat and look forward to these talks every time you're up at 5 a.m. to randomly catch them. I'm glad you appreciate it. I appreciate that. All right, let's move on from Streamlabs for a second. On to this Wall Street Journal article. Let's move on to Wall Street Journal. To this wonderful picture of Bobby Kotick. Kotick, I don't know, whatever his name is. Activision Blizzard bad, actually. We're mostly talking about Bobby Kotick, Koprick, whatever his fucking name is. I don't know, I don't care. Let's talk about it. Kotick, yeah, I suppose. Look at I love this photo. I love how flattering this photo is of him. Isn't that just remarkable? Look at it. He truly looks done. I love it. I just love to see it, honestly. Before we go into any of the content of the article itself, I just want to take a moment to admire how bad Bobby Kotick looks here. I don't know how you pronounce his surname. I don't really care to give him the respect. He's a terrible person at the head of a terrible company. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick knew for years about sexual misconduct allegations at video game giant. Knowing the content, roast him. Yes, just roast him, okay? Roast this sad sack of a human being. Top executive didn't inform board of some reports, including alleged rapes. Company faces multiple regulatory investigations. Bobby Kotick, the longtime chief executive of video game giant Activision, Blizzard Incorporated, received a troubling email in July 2018. A lawyer for a former employee at Sledgehammer Games, an Activision-owned studio, alleged in the email that her client had been raped in 2016 and 2017 by her male supervisor after she had been pressured to consume too much alcohol in the office and at work events. Excuse me. The female employee reported the incidents to Sledgehammer's Human Resources Department and other supervisors, but nothing happened, according to the email, which threatened a lawsuit against the company. So, yeah, of course nothing happened. Who would be shocked that nothing happened? They would rather cover this up than deal with it. Within months of receiving the email, said people familiar with the situation, Activision reached an out-of-court settlement with the woman, who also had reported one of the incidents to the police. Mr. Kotick did inform the company's board of directors about the alleged rapes or the settlement, said people with knowledge of the board. You've been a morning person for a few good months now. Fucking magical. I do like a bit of mourning. Activision has been thrown into turmoil in recent months by multiple regulatory investigations into alleged sexual assaults and mistreatment of female employees dating back years. Mr. Kotick has told directors and other executives he wasn't aware of many of the allegations of misconduct, and he has played down others according to people familiar with the matter and internal documents. All the leadership at corporate games companies seem to condone this sort of shit. Yeah, it's not surprising. It's why I generally avoid the bigger companies. I would rather not put my money towards games published by those companies, but sadly, the reason those companies are so big is because a lot of people who are involved in video games are not gonna bother with paying attention to this shit. They would rather ignore it themselves and at best be like, oh, that's pretty bad. Hey, I'm gonna go back to playing Call of Duty Vanguard or whatever. Anyway, speaking of which, you need a shower immediately so your bush of head hair can dry. Have a good one, Marcos. Alright, where were we? These documents, or those documents, which include memos, emails, and regulatory requests, and interviews with former employees and others familiar with the company, however, cast Mr. Kotick's response in a different light. They show that he knew about the allegations of employee misconduct in many parts of the company. He didn't inform the board of directors about everything he knew, and the interviews and documents show, even after regulators began investigating the incidents in 2018. Some departing employees who were accused of misconduct were praised on the way out, while their co-workers were asked to remain silent about the matters. Funny how that always works. Excuse me. I feel like, I don't know, I'm congested or something like that. Mr. Kotick has been subpoenaed in a Securities and Exchange Commission investigation into how the company handled reports of misconduct and disclosed them to the public, the Wall Street Journal reported in September. What Mr. Kotick knew about the alleged incidents and what he told other employees, the board of directors, and investors is part of that probe. Yeah, boycott ActiBliz. Just, I have intently stopped buying any of their games. In addition, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a lawsuit in July alleging that the company ignored numerous complaints by female employees of harassment, discrimination, and retaliation, citing what it called its frat boy culture. I really hate that term. In response, Mr. Kotick drafted an email that he had another executive send to employees under her name that dismissed California's allegations as presenting a distorted and untrue picture of our company, according to internal documents reviewed by the Journal. So here's that walkout that was staged back in, when was it? In July. The board of directors was blindsided by the California lawsuit's allegations, including that an Activision employee killed herself after a photo of her vagina allegedly was circulated at a company party, according to people familiar with the board. Directors have questioned Mr. Kotick about what he knew and why he hadn't been better informed. These people said he has told them any cultural issues were centered at the company's Blizzard Entertainment unit, which he said he had resolved years earlier, these people said. Yeah, this is bad. For the record, this is bad. Misconduct. Misconduct. That's a good derby name. Is it Derby? Derby? I think it's Derby. Anyway, in a recent interview, Mr. Kotick described himself as transparent, okie dokie, with the board and said he provides directors with as much information as they require and is appropriate. I am very committed to making sure we have the most welcoming, most inclusive workplace in the industry, he said. Oh, okay. I remember a story. Not a story. I remember a tweet in the wake of this. Like literally within weeks of the news going up about the Blizzard story, about the if you know the California lawsuit thing had just been made public, and while all that was ongoing for like several weeks, for a good few weeks there, like 6 weeks or so, there was a news story about Activision Blizzard every single week there was a news story or two about this whole incident. And I saw a distinct tweet of someone celebrating that they had received a job at their dream company, and it was a woman. It was like, I finally got my dream job. I'm going to be developing games at Blizzard. And with everything going on, I think all the responses were just like, oh, congrats, stay safe. Like, it wasn't really, you know, the best time for it, but I suppose, you know, dream job and all that. Anyway, described himself as transparent with the board and said he provides directors with as much information as they require and is appropriate. I am very committed to making sure we have the most welcoming, most inclusive workplace in the industry, he said. Activision spokeswoman Helene Klasky said in a written statement that Mr. Kotick would not have been informed of every report of misconduct at every Activision Blizzard company, nor would he reasonably be expected to have been updated on all our personnel issues. She said Activision sometimes fell short of ensuring that all of our employees' behavior was consistent with our values and expectations. It is his responsibility, as the chief executive officer of the company, to make sure that his employees are working in a safe environment. Clearly they're not. Morning, Clara. How's it going? Boycott AAA in general. Missing some nice games is sad, but the crunch work culture behind them and stuff like this just doesn't make it worth it. I mean, I would say, yeah, only AAA studio you'd give a chance is Square Enix, and even then you'd be cautious. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like the reason that they're able to put out those really nice games that you love playing is because of that crunch work culture, generally speaking. So you have to weigh up what you value more, I suppose. Fell short of ensuring that all of our employees' behavior was consistent with our values and our expectations. Fucking hell. Good gravy. Anyway, Activision's board, in a statement sent by Ms. Klasky, said it had been informed at all times with respect to the status of regulatory matters, and that Mr. Kotick hadn't said the problems were only at Blizzard, one of the company's most successful studios. Santa Monica-based Activision is the second largest publicly traded video game company by market capitalization.
I see you've brought
Hey,
guests.
Jasmine,
Welcome,
how you going?
friends.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Rogue Room. I'm Abigail Beck. What were you getting up to tonight? Tell us all about it. What'd you do? What were you streaming? Someone shout out Jasmine. What have I done? Oh no. Have I think I've gotten makeup on my finger. What is that? It must be lipstick or something. Hello, friends. Secret little haven. What's that like? Give me a second. Awkward teen trans girl content. It was great. Aww. Haven't played an Activision game in a long time. Overwatch maybe. The Modern Warfare Reboot's multiplayer beta. There you go. What was the last Activision game I played? Probably just World of Warcraft, honestly. I did the free trial of that. I made a new account to go back to World of Warcraft briefly, just to try out like some of the early game free content that you don't need to subscribe for, just because I wanted to. I wasn't going to give them money, so I did not. Break all of the eggs. I might need to give that a look. It's a text-based game entirely about being a trans girl on the internet. Oh, that's cute. Did you enjoy it? It sounds like you enjoyed it. There's enough games out there that gamers aren't going to get left in the cold if new games get released slower. Yeah, like it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that meme of like, I want fewer games developed by smaller studios and for less money, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, here's a smudge. Have a nice stream. Thank you so much for bringing all your friends over, Jasmine. I hope you had a good one. Go get some rest. Here's my baby. Hear him. Hello, trans cougar girl. How's it going? Oh yeah, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Remaster is probably the last Activision Blizzard game I paid for. And I feel like, which honestly kind of, I hate that I did that, honestly. But I had fun with it. I did have fun with it. So that's one of those things. And unfortunately, that studio ended up getting dissolved or something along those lines. So we're never going to see, for example, Tony Hawk 3 content in the game. You want smaller studios to make less games for less money, you know, lower quality, more bugs, lower fidelity graphics, all that kind of shit. Off to an electro appointment radio. Enjoy that lurk. Sounds good. Some really fringe and unique experiences on there. All the trans games on Itch.io. That could be fun. But yeah, like generally speaking, like the AAA industry has blown up to such a ridiculous degree that it's like, I don't know, how do you stick with it at that point? Anyway, shall we continue? It's become the MCU effectively. The industry is way too bombastic now. It's way too profitable, way too much money being pumped into way too many projects that are putting people through horrendous crunch. Like, the games industry used to be an industry of passion, and now the industry capitalizes on that passion and crushes artists who have got, honestly, probably a real knack for making good games, but they've just been wrapped up by companies like Activision Blizzard. Again, I throw back to that tweet that we mentioned earlier, where, yeah, there's this person who's really passionate about game design, really passionate about game dev, who are, you know, went off to work for this absolutely heinous company. You know, when they could be networking with other game devs and putting together a small studio to develop their own game. But of course, the issue there is, sorry to keep swapping back between these things. The issue there, of course, is, you know, if you go work at a big game company, you're gonna get paid. If you don't work at a big game company, you're effectively just relying on going viral with whatever you produce, unless you can secure a publishing deal. Consequence of video games becoming mainstream is that the business has attracted mainstream investment who insist on mainstream executive talent. Yes, exactly, yes. And, you know, it's not often that I dip my toes into this kind of content, but it is worth talking about. So, where were we? Santa Monica-based Activision is the largest publicly traded video game company by market capitalization. It employs about 10,000 people, and its hit franchises include Call of Duty, Candy Crush, and World of Warcraft. Under Mr. Kotick's leadership, the company's market value has risen to about $54 billion from $14 billion a decade ago. Since the California lawsuit, Activision has received more than 500 reports of current and former employees alleging harassment, sexual assault, bullying, pay disparities, and other issues, according to people familiar with the matter. The Activision spokeswoman said the company is investigating the claims using teams from both inside and outside the company. The examples of alleged misconduct by Activision employees cited in this article haven't previously been reported. Mr. Kotick, 58 years old, is one of the highest paid chief executives of a U.S. publicly traded company with a pay package in 2020 valued at $154 million. In October, after the Journal approached Activision with questions for this article, Mr. Kotick told employees he would ask the board to reduce his total annual compensation to $62,500 and that the company was implementing a zero-tolerance harassment policy and ending mandatory arbitration for harassment and discrimination claims. Do you think his annual salary is going to make a difference to how much money he has? Realistically speaking, Bobby Kotick is going to be fine on $62,500 a year, given how many multi-million-dollar bonuses he keeps giving himself. You know? The whole AAA branding is cringe. It is a bit 110% game now, 200% game now, 1000% game. It's just getting a bit AAA Aardvark, AAA Amazon, Activision, or the Game Master 2000. Game Master 6000. Yeah, he gets mad bonuses. Burning out young hopefuls and then cutting them for quarterly profitability. Yep, it's not a good industry to go into. Activision pretty much is video games at this point. They split off from Atari to make their own games in '79. There we go. In August, Activision named a longtime employee, Jennifer O'Neill, to be Blizzard's co-head, making her the first woman to lead one of the company's business units. The following month, she sent an email to a member of Activision's legal team in which she professed a lack of faith in Activision's leadership to turn the culture around, saying it was clear the company would never prioritize our people the right way. Yeah, I mean, who would be shocked? This is the thing, right? I mean, even in the face of all of this kind of stuff going on, the lawsuit and the massive publication of sexual harassment and just absolutely toxic workplace conditions for game developers, the reality of the situation is that the vast majority of people are, the vast majority of these companies make so much money that they can just get away with, broadly speaking, ignoring this stuff. Aussie Jumping Llama, how are you doing? Speaking of those particular flags, the trans flag and the bi flag, GF and I were in a handbag shop today, and we were talking to the clerk, and the clerk had a lanyard on, as you do, like with a little name badge or whatever, and she had 4 pins on there. She had a trans flag pin, a gay pride pin, a bisexual pride pin, and a Black Lives Matter pin, which was super fucking cool. It was so cool. Why would you watch the game advertisements? Yeah, the suit, the host, the crowd, the ads, all of it. Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's gotten to the point now, and I don't want to be this person, but I have to be this person. When I see a lot of game streamers who are, like, super excited about their favorite video game. Oh my god, I can't wait to play the new Sims expansion, or whatever, I don't know. It feels so facetious to me now. Like, I see so many of these really popular streamers, and they're really like, oh, I'm a cozy, relatable streamer. I just, like, sit in my cozy, neon-lit bedroom. Anyway, shut up. Look, the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of these streamers who do the whole song and dance and try to have that relatable persona for the relatable audience, and then you just look at them simping for these major mainstream corporations, and in some cases they've got brand deals with these major mainstream corporations like Ubisoft and Activision and all these things, and the news is out there. It's not hidden away. It's not shied away from anyone. Like, this is on the Wall Street Journal, right? And at least one streamer I know of had the integrity when this lawsuit went public. Third Artifact, I think it was, used to stream exclusively WoW, right? And when that lawsuit came out and all the news came out, she was like, fuck it, I'm not playing World of Warcraft anymore. I built my brand on this, but I'm jumping to Final Fantasy, right? Which was I have to respect the integrity there, to just be like, to put your foot down and say, no, I'm not going to keep supporting this company knowing I'm not. And, like, this is the thing. I had a bit of a disagreement with a particular streamer on Twitter once, and I've brought this up before. Not like a huge heated argument or whatever, but, I mentioned there were a few streamers out there who were playing Genshin Impact. And by playing Genshin Impact and doing, like, I forget what it's like gacha, which is kind of like slot machines or whatever it is. You play the slot machines basically, and you get random rewards. Which it's just literally gambling in a game designed to appeal to children. Look at how Genshin Impact looks. That is a kid-friendly game. Same with Roblox, same with Minecraft in a lot of ways. Although I don't know what Minecraft does that's remotely similar. But, there's all these predatory microtransaction things in games designed to appeal to children. And I said, look, if you've got a brand deal with a game that is designed to appeal to kids with its colorful art style and things of that nature, and you're working with that company and engaging with the gambling mechanics in such a way that there might be kids watching you, or just even adults, who might then be influenced by you. Like, literally, you are an influencer in this circumstance. If you are playing that game and engaging with those gambling mechanics and advertising the game effectively, if there are people watching you who then go on to engage with that and engage in destructive tendencies towards gambling, because let's face it, that's what a lot of these things are. They're predatory microtransactions designed to prey on people who have addictive personalities. So people are going to be spending money they don't have to try to get the best items they can in these video games. You, as the influencer, are responsible for that. You know, like, the company made the game, true, but you signed up to sell that product to people who you know are vulnerable, who are susceptible to this kind of thing. You are not absolved of that responsibility as a broadcaster who has decided to step in and say, oh, I'm going to cash in on this. I'm going to get a brand deal with this company. Oh, but, you know, if my viewers decide to go and throw away their life savings on Genshin Impact Gacha, that's not my fault. Kind of is, though. Like, you do play a part in that. You are not absolved of any responsibility there. You are a part of that. You're a part of the problem. I don't know why people have an issue with admitting they're a part of the problem. Well, I know why. But anyway, passing the buck mentality, yeah. Basically, NASCAR cars at this point, the actual cars, not even the drivers, pretty much. And I see it all the time. I see it from people who really just, they want to sell that persona of like, I'm a real human being. I'm a real relatable human being, you know? But at the end of the day, they're a billboard. And I kind of fucking hate it. I hate the fact that in streaming especially, in content creation in general, but especially in streaming, you know, is streaming gacha games also endorsement? You could say so. As a paid advertiser or ambassador, yeah, pretty much. And, yeah. Remember the whole CSGO skins, aka microtransaction, and literal gambling of them if you bet? Yeah, exactly. Hello, Old Snake. How you doing? They really just don't want to admit to themselves that they are a part of a serious issue with gaming, you know. I think sometimes when we stream we get a little too real and it turns some off, but I'm like, oops. If we can swallow our queerness, you can swallow our realness. Hate Valorant system, it's RNG and absurdly expensive MTXs. I hate any kind of microtransactions. Any and all. You know, fuck them all off. We don't need them. Counter-Strike's the only game that ever made you money selling free skins. Okay, let's continue. Ms. O'Neill said in the email she had been sexually harassed early in her career at Activision and that she was paid less than her male counterpart at the helm of Blizzard, and wanted to discuss her resignation. I've been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against, wrote Ms. O'Neill, who is Asian American and gay. She described a party for an Activision development studio she attended with Mr. Kotick in around 2007, in which scantily clad women danced on stripper poles. There was something else similar to this. There was an actual game release event. Oh yeah, Booth Babes. Do you remember the Booth Babes? That was the thing. Hard to believe I lived through a time where booth babes were a common occurrence at gaming conventions. Anyway, at the same party, a DJ encouraged female attendees to drink more so the men would have a better time, according to another person who was present. Every time there's talk about Blizzard, Activision, Blizzard, whatever, it somehow gets fucking worse. Booth babes, well, I mean, generally speaking, I think there was a huge kerfuffle around booth babes being, you know, misogynistic exploitation. Here's the thing, they absolutely guests. Are. Hello, friends. Welcome. Epo, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, friendos. We're talking about Activision Blizzard, we're talking about booth babes, we're talking about all this shit. Once I'm done with this story, I'm going to take my break. But anyway. Hello, raiders. Welcome to the Rogue Room. I'm Abigail Beck. We talk about... I'm just going to say it outright. I'm a lefty. I'm one of those lefty people, anti-capitalism, bordering on anarchism some days. I should look up more, like, anarchist stuff. Talk about that. Maybe we should spend a stream learning about anarchism. Anyway, I'm one of those streamers. I'm a bit of an asshole, but, like, a preachy leftist asshole. How's it fucking going, mate? Welcome in, welcome in. Just listen to punk all night. How yous going? Chrono Trigger. How was Chrono Trigger? Still one of the most classic exposés on loot crates and other exploitative gambling shit by the inimitable James Stephanie Sterling. We love James Stephanie. This is an old one. This is an old... this is uncomfortable, honestly. Like, I don't know, are we okay watching old Jimquisition? They're still up there. Those videos are still up there. It's just weird to, like, look at... I don't know, as someone who's got awkwardness around her pre-transition self. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Chrono Trigger. I've heard good things of Chrono Trigger. I'm not even sure what it's about, honestly. A lefty. We don't actually have that here in the States, no matter what Fox News might say otherwise. Yeah, I mean, you don't have any actual leftist politicians. You got people who are arguably left of center, and that's about as good as it gets. From what I've seen. You can recommend someone who knows a bit about it. Who would that be? Old SNES RPG. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people sing its praises, and I might check it out at some stage. But how'd your stream go? Did you have fun? I hope you had fun. I'm lefty insofar as I'm a queer who hates capitalism, and how staunchly ableist it is, and I hate the aesthetic of men in suits. So you know. Anyway. Gave yourself a concussion? Oh my... How? Wait, gave yourself a concussion in the game or in real life? Anyways. We're doing the anti-cap thing. In real life, holy crap. A chronocussion. Chronocussion. Anyway, let's go back to ActiBliz. Let's continue talking about Activision Blizzard, because that's a lot of fun. You know. Let me put this here. There we go. Oh, head pats. I'll take... Are you going to give them to me, or... Would you like them? I would like them. I can sort of like... Here. You can do it here. Does this work? I have a pet hand. Look, it can just... That's great. Anyway, let's continue. Head pats are adorable. Okay, so she described, we already talked about this one. Ms. Klasky said Mr. Kotick didn't remember it. I'm just going to keep changing the pronunciation of Bobby Kotick's name. Kotick? Anyway, Ms. Klasky said Mr. Kotick didn't remember attending such a party. That took me a second. Okay. The company announced on November 2nd that Ms. O'Neill is leaving Blizzard at year-end. Ms. O'Neill said in an email statement that she made a decision that was best for her and her family. In the interview, Mr. Kotick disputed that Activision is unwelcoming to women and said the examples of misconduct identified by the journal are exceptions that don't reflect the company overall. He said he is spending more time on workplace issues. Like, this is the thing, right? You could probably argue, generally speaking, yeah. Like, I doubt the entire company is so staunchly misogynistic that every woman that walks in is going to be harassed and hounded. That's a thing. That's a skill I've got. I just merge words together for no fucking reason. You could probably reasonably argue that it's not a workplace where women get wolf whistled the moment they join the company. Like, I don't think that's explicitly what's happening. But it's one of those situations where it's like, if any of this kind of harassment is happening in the company, it's too much. Like, you can't have this kind of workplace environment where particularly women in this circumstance, but broadly minorities in general, because as was mentioned shortly before, you know, Ms. Klasky is an Asian American and gay person who has suffered harassment as a result of all of those things, not just being a woman, right? So any kind of harassment towards any kind of already marginalized group in these kinds of workplaces is too much. You know, that is the issue that needs to be addressed. And if it happens at all, then that's too much. And then it needs to be clamped down on. And especially if the workplace environment either has a blasé attitude towards it. It's like, oh, well, we can't control every incident that happens. Well, you could, though. You know, you could act on it every time it does happen, and you could issue statements to the company explicitly stating, like, punishing those who are responsible for these things. You know, there's a lot that can be done. It doesn't seem like Activision Blizzard actually is doing. Anyway, I'm rambling. If there are experiences people have in the workplace that make them uncomfortable, we're much more adept at being able to respond to those, he said. Mr. Kotick said that he and the board now expect to be kept better informed than in the past about workplace issues. We can only keep our fingers crossed. Something can be done. Have you tried something? Mr. Kotick has been a technology entrepreneur since he dropped out of the University of Michigan in the 1980s at the urging, he said, of Steve Jobs. He has counted the former casino magnate Steve Wynn as one of his mentors. Together with a group of investors, he acquired Activision out of bankruptcy in 1991 for about $400,000. Happened a few hours ago, but it's sore and definitely have a headache. At this point, though, you need to sleep in an hour, though. It's a good idea. But don't you have to, like, make sure you're okay before you get sleep if you have a potential concussion? Like, there's stuff that needs to be done beforehand. I don't know. I'm not a medical expert. He forged his reputation by acquiring successful development studios behind popular gaming franchises. Mr. Kotick long allowed those studios to operate as independently as possible, which he believed would foster the development of hit games. Former employees at several studios said behavior such as workplace drinking, comments about women's appearances, the sharing of explicit content, and staff-organized trips to strip clubs. Staff-organized trips to strip clubs. Okay. And they didn't feel comfortable complaining to human resources. Hello, darling. Are you just gonna sit? You miss playing World of Warcraft Classic? So do I. Like, I miss WoW. I do enjoy. I used to actually really like playing it, but now I cannot in good conscience go back to it. Or any of their games, honestly. Which really sucks. Especially Warcraft 3. You know, I hate the way they fucked Warcraft 3 up massively, in the same way that Rockstar just fucked up GTA Trilogy. Anyway, where were we? The Activision spokeswoman said human resources began reporting directly to the corporate office in 2019, and the prior setup occasionally allowed some employees to conduct themselves in truly regrettable ways. The only fix is Elyon Online and New World. I've heard so many bad things about New World, I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Like, namely the fact that the economy is totally fucked by item dupers. GTA, you were so looking forward to it. When they announced it, I was like, oh wow, cool, this will be really good. I'm glad I didn't pre-order that. Jesus Christ. Anyway, where were we? The Mr. Kotick approves high-profile hiring decisions and the exit and pay packages of star developers, and he is typically aware of any major problems in each of Activision's 12 development studios and 3 major business units, according to people familiar with his leadership. Ms. Klasky, the company spokeswoman, said that although Mr. Kotick might express opinions on employment matters brought to his attention, he generally isn't involved in the hiring, compensation, or termination decisions for most employees. Dan Bunting, co-head of Activision's Treyarch studio, was accused by a female employee of sexually harassing her in 2017 after a night of drinking, according to people familiar with the incident. Activision's Human Resources Department and other supervisors launched an internal investigation in 2019 and recommended that he be fired, but Mr. Kotick intervened to keep him, these people said. Mr. Bunting, who led Treyarch through the production of several successful Call of Duty games, was given counseling and allowed to remain at the company, these people said. It's always tied to drinking. It's always a convenient excuse, isn't it? Okay. New World was also a live-action Pocahontas-type movie that was very cringe. Oh, really? People are doing an Amazon on New World. Since you've switched to Path of Exile for your ARPG fix and don't really enjoy Overwatch that much anymore, you don't really have anything you missed much about Blizzard at the moment. Well, that's good. You know, there are alternatives. Like, this is the thing. For a lot of these games that they produce, there are alternatives that are just as good, if not better. You know, find the other games that you can play that are similar to those Activision Blizzard games that you enjoy so much, and support those instead. Support the companies that don't have such rampant sexual abuse and stuff like that, you know. Try to get away from those companies. Support smaller companies that don't have fucking assholes running them. But this is the problem. It's like with the smaller studios, there's probably less news on their internal structures. So you're running a risk either way. Mr. Bunting didn't respond to requests for comment. The Activision spokeswoman said an outside investigation was conducted in 2020. After considering potential actions in light of that investigation, the company elected to not to terminate Mr. Bunting, but instead impose other disciplinary measures, she said. Mr. Bunting left the company after the Journal asked about the incident. How convenient! Hey, Drew. Good morning. Activision Blizzard still sucks. Yes, that is the news. Crazy, actually. I never would have guessed that a company notorious for sucking hasn't gotten any better. Yeah, we're reading this Wall Street Journal article at the moment talking about the sexual misconduct allegations, getting some more details here. This is regrettable, honestly, and not at all surprising. Like, this is the thing that annoys me, is like, I can say this over and over again. None of this is at all surprising. Sighs dramatically. You know, I just, these major companies, like, what did they say earlier? Like, Activision Blizzard has got like 10,000 employees. Like, how can you be shocked? You know, and like, there should be more done to protect the employees of this company from this kind of thing. There should absolutely be more done. But the problem is, it's one of those things where it's like, you would argue, what's the profit incentive for them to employ more people to work at the company to oversee that these harassment things are not happening? And there probably is a profit incentive if you work it in such a way, like, people who are not being actively harassed in the workplace are probably going to be more motivated and such to do a good job, as opposed to, you know, people who might be wary of going into work one day because the guy that sexually harassed her at the Christmas party is going to be there. You know, that's going to have an impact on your productivity. Like, with regards to why isn't the company doing anything, a lot of the time you have to think from the profit perspective. Like, what are they going to do that is going to incentivize making more money, aside from hiring more devs to do more money making for them? And shocking, after all this shit hit the fan, they rushed to release the new COD game. Exactly. And wasn't there something else when the lawsuit hit? Back in July? Was it July of this year or last year? I can't even remember. Like, the pandemic has got time just blurring. When the original lawsuit hit back in July, I think it was July this year, Overwatch 2, the Overwatch 2 announcement, immediately afterwards. So fast. And you can tell that they just threw together whatever they had to throw out that trailer. No, nothing ever happened. Oh my, will you look at the time? It's run the fuck away from questions o'clock. Oh, goodness me. It's... games. Videos gaming. Why would you video game? Anyway. Although Mr. Kotick didn't inform the board about the email accusing the Sledgehammer Games supervisor of rape, Activision did take action. The accuser's lawyer, Harmeet Dillon, identified the supervisor as Javier Panamino and said that he had also sexually harassed a second woman at the studio. It's like how Ubi, after their allegations, dropped a new op and Far Cry 6 announcement. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Ubisoft never addresses any of it. All the news about the horrendous workplace behavior going on at Ubisoft, like, I don't see them comment. Oh, hello. An anonymous gifter is gifting 2 tier 1 subs to Abigail Beck's community. I'm Abigail Beck, BL Night Boss, and Murdy009. Enjoy those anonymously gifted subs. Thank you so kindly, whoever you are. Thank you, Anon. That was so sweet of you. Give me a second here, because now we've hit that second sub goal of the night. Let's bump it up. Bump it up, baby. Oh my, look at my wrist. It's time to go. Dr. Horrible Single. Oh, I probably won't want to do this just in case. Just in case. Smudge Chill. Is he fucking... I can hear him. I can hear him running around and they're tearing up the carpet. Anyway. Do you want the laser pointer? Dr. Horrible is definitely DMCA. Here. Hang on. Yeah. Hang on. You all need to get a glimpse of Smudge right now. Hang on. Can I? Look at this maniac. Look at this fucking ludicrous animal that I have. Can I? Shorts. I am wearing shorts, don't worry. Let me do this. Hang on. That doesn't work. There we go. No, that's my legs. Hi legs, how are you? Hey legs, how are you, Gorge? Okay. Oh, come on, dude. Maybe, hang on. Here we go. Alright, here we go. We'll get back to Activision Blizzard in a moment. We're busy, like, playing with my cat. Okay? Someone better be clipping this. Oh, fucking hell. You're a wild animal. Pardon? Maybe. I'm gonna need to charge this. The laser's not running. The laser's not very bright. Do you want it?
There we go.
You are too kind.
Hey, Anonymous. Thank you for gifting Uncle Fester a sub. Give me a sec while I just move my little overlay here. There you go. Enjoy that one.
Oh my god.
No, enjoy that. No, don't look at me. Look at the fucking laser, you douche. Oh, look at him go. Oh shit. We're hoping this will wear him out because he's so energetic lately.
It won't.
It won't. It's not going to do a fucking thing. I need to pee really badly. Can I leave you to entertain stream with Spudge while I go pee?
While we break?
Yeah. Can we do... Is that a... I don't know. What do you want to do?
It's good break content.
Yeah.
Just mute the stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave you... I'll leave the music on. And Maddie can entertain you with Smudge while I go pee. So, you know. Hopefully the mic doesn't fall. The camera doesn't fall. Hello, I'm back. Do you want to keep watching the cat for a second? I don't know if you want to keep watching the cat. This music probably wasn't from The Matrix Reloaded, given its... what's it called? Oh, fuck, I've just opened Premiere Pro. It's Stream Beats by Harris Heller, so it wasn't around when The Matrix Reloaded was out. Although, it could have very well been sampled, for all I know. So, you know. Given, I mean, I've speculated that... Stream Beats is heavily sampled and probably very template-based music. Like, it definitely sounds like it's been... Like, there's so many songs on the Stream Beats playlist, and given it's a free playlist, I get the suspicion that a lot of it is stuff that's... Yeah, it could be a cover, or like I said before, it could be, like, put together from templates. Like, whoever played, like, Music 2000 on their PlayStation as a kid? Or there's an app called... that I use... Oh, let me get rid of the text thing. Yeah, probably samples or something. Pardon? He did. I'm gonna tweet something really quickly. I want you all to go and like this tweet really quick. For some reason, when I click my share button, it wants me to send a DM to Bad Bunny with a picture of my cat streaming to 91 viewers. There we go. I just did a tweet. You can go like the tweet. Pops Guy has a lot from Twitch has a lot of songs with no DMCA. Oh yeah. Cheers, by the way. We got whiskey.
See how it is.
Pardon? Yeah, let's see how it is. Yeah. I mean, I've only just taken the first sip, so it might take a second.
It's pretty smooth.
It's pretty smooth. I like it. Anywho, here's a tweet you can go like if you haven't already, which you should, quite frankly. Yeah, there we go. Go and like this one over here. My cat held a stream of 90 plus viewers for like 10 minutes. Why not? I could just literally stream my cat for hours on end. It is. I really should. I mean, luckily, I've learned, okay, not to open my feed, my timeline. I think I have, but fortunately, when I've opened my timeline, there's been no complete buttholes on there. Like, I'm not talking like rude people. There's plenty of rude people on Twitter. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about actual buttholes. Like a good friend of mine just posted hole on Maine the other week. And I was like, yeah. I've mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again. Because, like, most of my Twitter timeline is not anything pornographic. But all of a sudden, I've got some friends who are just like, by the way, here's my tits and cock. I'm like, okay. You do you, boo. That's fun. You know, enjoy that. It's midday. Hole in Maine, yeah. You could use some of that whiskey. It's just, what is it, Jack Daniels? It's just Jack Daniels, isn't it? Why? Because my friends are a wild bunch. We're unchained. We're unrestrained. We do whatever we like. I don't know. Like, I'm friends with sex workers, so you know. I'm not really all that reserved about who I follow on Twitter, honestly. Like, if you go through my likes, and if someone tried to own me by, like, going through my likes and saying, oh, you like this person flashing dong or whatever, I'm like, they're a friend. They posted a tweet. Who fucking cares? Are you that fussed by nudity and sexuality? Anyway, let's continue with where we were before. We were supposed to get into the Alex Jones thing tonight, but honestly, I want to read more details about this Activision Blizzard thing. You like my timeline? Sounds like a happening place. It really is. It is. It's a happening place. Let's continue on here. So where were we? The employee who accused him of the assaults reported the second incident in 2017 to the police. No charges were brought. The Activision spokeswoman said the company immediately investigated the two assault reports after executives received the 2018 email and fired Mr. Panamino 2 months later. She said that following the two incidents, the employee said she was too intoxicated to remember what happened, and that Mr. Panamino's recollection of the second encounter conflicted with the employee's report to police. She said the female employee hadn't reported either incident to the company before she left in November 2017. Ms. Dillon's email, however, said that employee had told that employee, I can't read words, had told Sledgehammer Human Resources about both incidents. A colleague of the former employee said the same. Mr. Panamino didn't respond to requests to comment. A spokesman for his subsequent employer, online game developer Zynga, said it launched an internal investigation after questions from the journal, and Mr. Panamino subsequently resigned. Okay, interesting. That's the actions of a completely innocent individual. The email that the accuser's lawyer sent Mr. Kotick also said another Sledgehammer employee, Edward Rorick, had been accused of sexual harassment. A female employee, Ashley Mark, said in an interview that she complained to supervisors and human resources in 2017 about harassment by Mr. Rorick, including at a company party at which there was heavy drinking. Yeah, HR can't be trusted. This is true. Call of Duty Endowment? What the fuck kind of name is that? Okay, Mr. Rorick confirmed he was investigated for a harassment incident at an office party in 2017 and said it was unclear what exactly did and did not happen. Hello, Amy. How you doing? Since a lot of alcohol was involved. He added that it was stupid of me and totally uncalled for to get that drunk. He said he was given a 2-week paid leave and allowed to remain at Activision in a different position. In a human resources letter to him in 2017, which was shared by Mr. Rorick, Activision said that he keep this matter confidential. Mr. Rorick, a German citizen, said he was let go in 2018 after he had an argument with his manager about his green card. The Activision spokeswoman confirmed that he was terminated for that reason. Excessive drinking has been associated with numerous complaints of alleged employee misconduct at Activision, according to former employees. Ms. Klasky said the company will soon ban alcohol in the office. Why is alcohol allowed in the office? I feel like that's a really bad idea on the outset. What the fuck? Introducing Call of Duty overcompensation. Who's allowing alcohol in the office? Why is it in the office? That's not a place for alcohol. That seems like a really bad idea. In fact, we have evidence that it's a really bad idea. Clearly, why are you allowing alcoholism in the office? That's not a place for the alcohol. Anyway. And let's continue on. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which has been investigating Activision since 2018, said in a complaint made public in September that employees endured sexual harassment that was severe or pervasive to alter the conditions of employment. Well, I mean, obviously, if you work in a pub, there are offices in pubs, like out the back, where they do the pay and shit. I mean, that's different. Activision said it agreed to pay $18 million to settle the EEOC's case. The company said at the time it would take other steps to prevent and eliminate harassment. The California regulator that sued Activision in July has challenged the settlement, saying the proposed amount is too low and that the agreement is harmful to victims and its case. The Activision spokeswoman noted that the EEOC has accused the lawyers leading the California case of misconduct. The state agency has denied those allegations. Well, yeah, bartenders shouldn't be drinking on the job. I'm reading multiple things at once. The suit's been around for months. Why the fuck wasn't office alcohol banned months ago? Yeah, right? Yeah. No, I didn't talk about Kotick writing the letter. Do you have the link to... There was a tweet that mentioned it. Do you have that by any chance, Mega? Because that is very relevant to this story. Surprised you react that strongly to it? Well, it seems like to me personally, and this is just where my weird morals come into play, you know, the office, just generally speaking, should be a place where it just doesn't, it feels like a place where professional productivity happens, not a place where people should be drinking, especially if, you know, like, a job is a significant part of a person's life, right? And if someone is drinking in a space where they're also working and they're also around people that might sexually harass them, and then they have to go back to that office where they were drunk and sexually harassed by someone they work with over in the next cubicle, it just seems like it's like shitting where you eat. You know, it seems like a bad idea overall. So yeah, Bobby Kotick actually wrote Fran Townsend's deranged company-wide email. We'll take a look at this in a second. Why is this advertising my seller casein to me? Why is my ad blocker not working on Kotaku all of a sudden? Just go away, ad bar thing. Anyway, we'll come back to that. We will read that. We will look at that. The California regulator that sued Activision in July has challenged this settlement. We already read that bit. Activision didn't make disclosures to investors about the more than 2-year-long WEOC probe until the lawsuit became public this year, and disclosed the SEC probe in September after questions from the Journal. A lawyer for Activision said most companies don't disclose WEOC investigations. That's not an excuse, though. You should. That's the problem. That comes back to around to what we were saying before. It's like just because it's legal doesn't mean it's moral. Anyway. Over the years, Mr. Kotick himself has been accused by several women of mistreatment both inside and outside the workplace, and in some instances has worked to settle the complaints quickly and quietly, according to people familiar with the incidents and documents reviewed by the Journal. Hello, welcome in, Anite. How you going? I'm doing well. Well, in 2006, one of his assistants complained that he had harassed her, including threatening in a voicemail to have her killed. Let me just reread that. In 2006, one of his assistants complained that he had harassed her, including by threatening in a voicemail to have her killed. Robert. According to people familiar with the matter, he settled the matter out of court, the people said. To have her killed. So we're clear on that. Men will just do whatever the fuck they want. They really will. Men. The Activision spokeswoman said Mr. Kotick quickly apologized 16 years ago for the obviously hyperbolic and inappropriate voicemail. Oh yeah, obviously hyperbolic. And he deeply regrets the exaggeration and tone in his voicemail to this day. Righto. Okay, I believe you. In 2007, he was sued by the flight attendant on a private jet he co-owned. The flight attendant claimed the plane's pilot had sexually harassed her, and after she complained to the other owner, Mr. Kotick fired her. The defendants deny the allegations. In a separate action related to legal fees in the case, an arbitrator, citing what he said was sworn testimony, wrote that Mr. Kotick told the flight attendant and her attorneys, "I'm going to destroy you." A spokesman for Mr. Kotick denied that he said that. In 2008, they settled by paying the attendant $200,000 according to the arbitrator's decision. A spokesman for Mr. Kotick said he couldn't have fired her in retaliation for complaining because she never complained directly to him. In 2020, about 30 female employees who worked in Activision's esports division wrote an email to their unit's leader saying that female employees had been subject to unwanted touching, demeaning comments, exclusion from important meetings, and unsolicited comments on their appearance. Thank you for the hydration. Yeah, I'm sure he was being sarcastic, right? Mr. Kotick was aware of the email, according to people familiar with the matter. Isn't Kotick in Epstein's little black book, if I recall correctly? Yes. Oh, hello. He's laying down now. Smudge is laying down next to me. Hello, sweetie. No. Don't you attack me, little fuck. Anyway, Activision spokeswoman said that after meetings with representatives of the group, the company took steps such as providing diversity and inclusion training to the esports leadership team. Former Blizzard Technology chief Ben Kilgore faced multiple allegations of sexually harassing female staffers over the course of several years, according to people familiar with the matter. During a company investigation, Mr. Kilgore lied about whether he had a relationship with a lower-level employee, some of these people said. He was fired in 2018 in a move approved by Mr. Kotick. That picture makes you cringe? It makes me cringe too. I hate looking at these sorts of conventions. Like, yeah, you can smell it. You can smell it. You've been to conventions before. You know what nerds smell like. Or geeks. Are they geeks? I feel like, how do we define this? You got a dip, you need sleep, you got a date tomorrow night with a total cutie. Oh, Lupa, I wish you the absolute best on your date. I haven't been to a convention, but I've been around gamer geeks. And they smell like cheese. Not good cheese. They smell like bad cheese. Please wear deodorant. And shower. Meow. From under cheese? I don't know. Just think of a smelly cheese that's not a nice smelling cheese. That smell. I'm grossing her out. Okay, enough. She's threatening divorce. We're not even married. Anyway. Divorce in advance. The moral of the story is please shower and wear deodorant. Like you see some of these people. And this is the thing, like I feel like nerd is the word you're supposed to go for. But the problem is nerds are smart, like was mentioned before. Oh, do I get hugs? Am I allowed to have hugs? I can come get hugs. Like, here's the thing. I feel like nerds are intelligent. Like, they have a particular field that they're nerdy about. Geeks, it's weird. Like, geeks almost feels like an endearing term, but it's the only one that feels appropriate to talk about these people. And then dorks is just like someone who's completely socially awkward. Good night, Fox. Have a good one. Anyway, gamer geeks, I don't know. But geeks feels too optimistic. We need another word to shame these people. Anyway.
You are too kind.
There we go. We had to go out there to get hugs. Hey, Winona, thank you so kindly for gifting a sub to 3 Bears. Anyway, gamer as a slur. Yeah, we should just, yeah. You're a big advocate of olfactory protests. If they won't let you be who you are, then stink. You've said nerd more than 3 times and thus have summoned me. Well, I'm glad to have summoned you, Tago. Gamer, derogatory. Gamer should always be a derogatory term, honestly. Every single time. Yeah, you thought that picture was literally of the Overwatch demo setups at BlizzCon, the Overwatch branded headsets would be... Yeah. It's an Overwatch test, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, continuing on. Let's continue on. Michael Morhaime, the former head of Blizzard, sent an email to employees thanking Mr. Kilgore for his many contributions over the last 4.5 years, according to a copy of the email. Some employees said they were taken aback by the praise, particularly given that they had been told not to discuss the circumstances of Mr. Kilgore's departure. Do you like my shirt? Size dramatically. I saw this and I was just like, oh god, I have to have it. I can't afford it, probably. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I had the money for it. Yeah, I was okay, but it's one of those things where it's like, I really don't need to buy this, but I'm going to. I'm gonna buy the shirt that says... size dramatically. Like, I mean, come on. How are you gonna not buy this shirt? It's perfect. In their 2020 letter, the female esports employees complained about the feeling of defeat when an abuser exits the company with positive public farewells. I mean, yeah. Like, that wouldn't feel like a victory if someone who had been abusive to you left the company and everyone's patting him on the back as he moves on to his next high-paying job. Like, really. The longest you've been able to stick around your stream. Yay for tonsillitis. 3 cheers for tonsillitis. Can we get a / chant? Yay for tonsillitis. I'm going to do it. Well, I mean, not really, though. Tonsillitis kind of sucks, and I hope you get better soon, honestly. But yay for tonsillitis, Prince. It allowed you to stick around for the stream. Turn a negative into a positive, I suppose. Seriously though, feel better soon. I shouldn't be making fun. I'm not making fun, really. Like, I don't know. Ooh, 3 Bears. Good question. Have you got ice cream? Ice cream is the cure to all ails. To all ills. Pardon? Yeah, we don't. We haven't had ice cream in ages, actually. Probably a good decision, because I was eating that shit like crazy. Anyway. The Activision spokeswoman declined to comment on the Kilgore case. Mr. Kilgore didn't respond to requests for comment. The employee email Mr. Kotick drafted about California's lawsuit in July said it included factually incorrect, old, and out-of-context stories. Mr. Kotick approves most internal company-wide emails, as well as media responses, according to internal documents and people familiar with the matter. Smudge, please kindly fuck off from my feet. He directed the email to be sent to employees by Frances Townsend, a former Bush administration official who joined Activision earlier this year and is one of the company's few female senior executives. Here we go. This might be this article over here. Activision employees criticized the statement and Ms. Townsend on social media and later organized a walkout. Ms. Townsend apologized for the statement at a company women's group she led, attended by hundreds of Activision employees. Some shared their own stories of harassment and asked why Activision didn't care about them, according to a recording of the meeting. Employees asked Ms. Townsend to resign as head of that group. Documents show which she did. Excuse me. Ms. Klasky, the Activision spokeswoman, said Mr. Kotick takes responsibility for the incident and regrets it. Ms. Townsend should not be blamed for this mistake, she said. Mr. Kotick backtracked, publicly calling the earlier statement sent by Ms. Townsend tone deaf. We will do everything possible to make sure that together we improve and build the kind of inclusive workplace that is essential to foster creativity and inspiration, he said in a new message to employees. And for whatever reason, Jim Oberman contributed to this article. That's important, I guess. And this is like the perfect point to segue. Bobby Kotick actually wrote Fran Townsend's deranged company-wide email. The email led to a staff walkout earlier this year. Kotick now regrets it. Earlier this year, an email was sent to all employees of Activision Blizzard from the email account of Chief Compliance Officer, former executive sponsor of the ABV Employee and Women's Network, and former torture apologist. For anyone who was curious about what kind of person Fran Townsend is off the surface of it. Sent in the midst of historic allegations of harassment against the company. It was so bad that it was one of the direct cited causes of a staff walkout. Excuse me. The email was one of the most tone-deaf, oblivious pieces of executive hand-waving you will ever see. Sorry about the torture, guys, you know. We here at the U.S. government are kind of real sorry about that torture there. Didn't mean to do it. No, yeah, we thought them brown people over in the Middle East were really bad, so we tortured them, and we're sorry about it. That's basically how it goes all the time. Right in the middle of allegations that shook a major publisher to its core, that led to a number of high-profile firings and resignations, that has dragged both Activision and Blizzard's name through the mud for much of 2021, completely deserved. Good morning, half-gendered monster. How you doing? The email had the nerve to call the lawsuit sparking those moves as having presented a distorted and untrue picture of our company, and went on to say that Townsend was proud to be part of a company that takes a hardline approach to inappropriate or hostile work environments and sexual harassment issues, despite everything that had just happened and was about to happen. Here it is in full, in case you've yet to see the whole thing. Everyone, as the executive sponsor of the ABK Employee Women's Network and our Chief Compliance Officer, I wanted to reach out to you. I know this has been difficult for many of us. A recently filed lawsuit presented a distorted and untrue picture of our company, including factually incorrect, old and out-of-context stories, some from more than a decade ago. The Activision companies of today, the Activision companies that I know, are great companies with good values. When I joined the executive leadership team, I was certain that I was joining a company where I would be valued, treated with respect, and provided opportunities equal to those afforded to the men of the company. For me, this has been true during my time. As a leader, I am committed to making sure that the experience I have is the same as the rest of the organization. We have a leadership team that is committed to these principles in every way. I am proud to be part of a company that takes a hardline approach to inappropriate or hostile work environments and sexual harassment issues. Our Speak Up campaign reinforces our zero tolerance for retaliation against those who do speak up. We've made significant investments to foster inclusive behaviors and to reflect greater diversity within our leadership teams, including investing in and strengthening our DE&I employee networks, creating global networks to bring together the efforts in all of our business units, and the introduction of executive sponsors. Introducing learning and development programs, including inclusive hiring training, amplifying internal programs such as the Way to Play Heroes and the recurring Speak Up campaign, reinforcing channels for employees to report violations, including the Ask List, introducing an employee relations team dedicated to investigating employee concerns, continuing to require all employees to take equality and diversity training, including anti-harassment training, and have done so for many years. We put tremendous effort into creating fair compensation policies that reflect our commitment to equal opportunity. We review compensation regularly and feel confident that we pay all employees fairly for equal or substantially similar work. We take proactive steps. I can't fucking read. We take proactive steps to ensure that pay and advancement are driven by merit. We reward performance, and we conduct extensive anti-discrimination trainings, including for those who are part of the compensation process. We work at a company that truly values equality and fairness. Rest assured that leadership is committed to maintain a safe, fair, and inclusive workplace. We cannot let egregious actions of others and a truly meritless and irresponsible lawsuit damage our culture of respect and equal opportunity for all employees. We aspire in our company to do great things in our games, in our impact on society, and in our work environment. Excuse me. We continue to hold firm to our principles and invest, as we have in the past, the resources to ensure equality opportunities for all employees. We remain committed as a leadership team to doing what is right. The email understandably enraged employees, led to Townsend stepping down from her role as executive sponsor of the Activision Blizzard Women's Network, and to this day remains one of the most spectacularly ill-judged pieces of damage control from the company in a year where those have become all too common. And Majors, good point here. Considering how quick Activision were to shut down any pro-Taiwan speech, it's hard to believe they can't deal more effectively with abusers. Yeah, right? Anyway. Today, somehow this email has returned and become even more explosive, with the Wall Street Journal reporting that Townsend didn't even write it. Besieged Activision Blizzard boss. Why call him? Don't make him out to be the victim. Besieged Activision Blizzard boss Bobby Kotick did. The story says that Kotick, who approves most internal company-wide emails as well as media responses, drafted the email himself and then directed it to be sent under Townsend's name, likely because she was one of the few women executives at a company run predominantly by men. Holy fucking shit, that just makes it so much worse. It's like, okay, because she's a woman, let's get the woman to send the email under the guise that, you know, that's clearly a more inclusive way to do this kind of thing. But he basically just threw a woman under the bus. An Activision rep responding to the Wall Street Journal's reporting says Kotick now takes responsibility for the incident and regrets it, and adds Ms. Townsend should not be blamed for this mistake. If you remember at the time, Kotick criticized the email as having been tone deaf, despite the fact that it now turns out he wrote it himself. Bobby Kotick must resign, and I 100% agree there. Bobby Kotick should resign, absolutely, yes, unequivocally. I don't know how you would argue against that. No, we're talking about Activision Blizzard, not EA, but I suppose, you know, what's the difference at this point? Just so we're clear, for the record. I just need you all to be aware of that. Can you see him? Hello, Smudge. I'll put that back where it belongs. So, fuck Bobby Kotick, basically. You are fully of the opinion that some folks are beyond repair and must be jettisoned into the nothing. Yes, but they must be the most extreme examples, you know. Who's Bobby Kotick? A cunt. I'm just gonna... We've spent like the last nearly 2 hours talking about him. Yeah, he's the CEO of Activision Blizzard. I did get my hug. The CEO of Activision Blizzard, and a very, very naughty boy, who recently had his pay cut down to $62,500 a year, which is not going to make a difference given he just gives himself multi-million-dollar bonuses every single financial year. Poor Diddums. Yeah, he's a literal billionaire. Yeah, he's at the head of one of the most abusive video game AAA companies there happens to be. And unfortunately, he looks set to retain that position for the foreseeable future. I don't see him resigning, first of all, and I don't see how changing CEOs is going to make a difference either. The issues that are there are certainly the responsibility of Bobby Kotick and everyone in leadership at Activision Blizzard. But the problem is, like, no matter how much you strip away those people and replace them with allegedly better ones, if you even can do that, is that, you know, it's really not going to change much. The issues with not just Activision Blizzard, but with Electronic Arts and Ubisoft and CD Projekt Red and all these other companies, is the workplace culture and all of these issues of abuse and harassment. They're institutional. And the problem, like, you just burn the whole sordid industry to the ground, honestly. Let's just say what we really mean. Smudge, the other renowned cunt when it comes to feet. Well, yeah, true. But yeah, just ultimately, honestly, I'm left kind of hopeless about the games industry, short of indie games, generally. Short of indies and smaller studios and, like, From Software. And even then, like, the fact of the matter is, I'm just going to say this, I'm just going to throw this out there because I'm skeptical that any major game company can really operate without this kind of shit worming its way into it. I'm not even sure From Software is absolved of this kind of stuff. We really don't hear much about From Software's working conditions. But yeah. Indie, repros, fan translations, ROM hacks, Fightcade, emus, etc. Emulations. You can see Bobby resigning from his position, then the company will invent a new position for him to occupy and carry on from a distance, probably. More worker co-op game studios. I mean, yeah, realistically. I mean, one of the best things that could be done in this circumstance is, and yeah, Activision did Activision did give From Software the money to make Sekiro, which is a tremendous studio. Tremendous video game by a tremendous studio. I'm drinking whiskey. My English is already bad on the best of days, and now it's worse. So, you know, forgive me for being a chronic alcoholic. And yeah, From Software is Japanese, so if it has average Japanese company culture, it's not a great place to be in. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. Very glad to work for such nice people, but you've been terrified about going into the studio with all this news going about. But everyone you work with seems super nice. Yeah. This is the problem with talking about all of these kinds of issues that I would say are institutional. Like these are problems endemic to the games industry. But this is the problem with like a lot of like talking about a lot of these issues is, generally speaking, it's not affecting everyone. And if it's not affecting people directly, it's harder to get them to care about these things. So, for example, if I were to talk about issues affecting people like me, trans people, most people aren't affected by those issues. Most people aren't really dealing with those problems. And thus it's easier for them to just dismiss those problems. Like, oh, well, it doesn't affect me, so why should I care? You know? While it's easy for you to avoid Activision Blizzard, it's harder for you to avoid Ubisoft because there really isn't much in the way of alternatives to Just Dance, which you use for exercise. There is nothing like Just Dance on the level of Just Dance. Understandable. Have you tried Ring Fit by any chance, at least in terms of fitness? I want to try Ring Fit Adventure, honestly. You know, a cis guy at Ubisoft, and he was very surprised but disappointed by all the stuff. Cishet white men are affected by consequences, so they're playing victim and trying to keep the lid on all this crap. Yeah, like anytime there's a man accused of being a sexual assailant, it's always the not all men shit. It's like, why are we dragging this man for having been a bad person? He makes all the other men look bad, and not all the men are bad. And it's like, you can't really use that excuse, though, can you? I mean, given how entrenched these things are in generally, like, we heard about the frat boy culture earlier on. Like, these kinds of things are, I'm just going to say, affected by masculine archetypes, by masculine stereotypes. That not all men are bad. This one is. Yeah, that's the thing. Right? And the problem is when men are allowed to continue with that behavior unabated, it creates a culture where men realize they're allowed to get away with a lot more than they should reasonably be able to get away with. All I can say is I'm a man and I don't sexually assault anyone. Good. Good. I'm not saying there are bad men, by the way. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. But, like was mentioned at the March for Justice that I went to, and I think this is an idea that extends beyond that as well. It's like these kinds of workplace conditions, like sexual assault, rape, and harassment in the workplace in general, these are generally men's issues that men need to solve, which means it needs to be other men stepping to other men and making it known that this kind of behavior is not on. This is not what we do, right? And that's a hard ask of a lot of people, especially when half the population is men, right? Broadly speaking. That bed is really fucking creaky. Can you hear that shit? Jesus Christ. Like how racism is a white problem. Yeah, exactly. Like, the issue with this discussion, like, okay, so we say that sexual assault and rape is a men's issue, you know, because the majority of those crimes are committed by men, right? Let's just say it for what it is. The majority of those crimes are committed by men. But then someone says, oh, but women commit those crimes too. And they do. They do. However, the systemic issue is related to men and masculinity and maleness, right? Men are often, regrettably, like I was raised in this environment where I thought this kind of thing was an archetype of a past generation. But men are still taught today that they can basically have whatever they want as long as they assert themselves. As long as they put themselves forward as being strong and all that. Like, they don't need to worry about... I'm trying to think of like the right wording here. But like, men are told that they can have whatever they want as long as they take it the right way. And there was a really horrifying story I read recently about how a woman got back from a date, right? And she was sending texts back and forth to this guy. And the first few messages were really like sort of casual, just sort of like post-date conversation. And I think they both agreed, you know, we're not gonna continue this, but I had a nice time. And it's fine. Conversation's going well. You know, they're both accepting of it. They're both just like, okay, yeah, we don't really gel. And then it gets to the point where the man just literally says outright to the woman's text, not to her face, like in a text message, says, I honestly considered raping you because I didn't think I'd be able to do it legit. And like that, just the reality of the situation is there's not an unsurprising, there's not a small amount of men who think like that. There's a significant amount of men who think like that. And it's because they're taught that that's a thing they can do. You know, and they're not taught it directly. It's just sort of the way they are raised in a generally patriarchal masculine society that says to men, you can have whatever you want. Other people that are not like you, that are not like straight men, they can't really have what you can have. You've got it all. But the problem is, once you tell men they can have it all, they realize they're at the top. That gives them a lot of confidence, but then they also have to act the victim in some way. They have to feel as though they're not actually at the top to be able to justify some of their more toxic behaviors. Vimsy, fuck off, mate. Anyway, that's an unpleasant thing to wake up to. How are you, Trick? Yeah, exactly. Dying to be oppressed. Which, again, brings us back to not all men. So if a man realizes he has the power in society to go and just grab her by the pussy, right? He does. Did you just laugh at grab her by the pussy?
No, I said sorry. Keep reading chat.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, like if men are taught that, you know, this is the thing. Like, anytime you see someone use the not all men avenue of things, it's like, oh, okay, so this guy was a rapist, but all men are suddenly rapists. Well, no, not all men are rapists. Well, really, the reality of the situation is that they see someone else who got caught, and they're just like, maybe I shouldn't have been thinking about doing that to that woman I was texting. And they have a moment of self-doubt. But then when they see that men are being dragged for being at the heart of this particular issue, that gives them an opportunity to play the victim and to make it about them instead of the victims, the actual victims. It's okay to laugh at Trumpisms. It is, but it's like anxious laughter. It's like, oh, you're about to stab me in the stomach. I get that there are men that have taught that, but that's 100% never occurred to me that I can just do that. I mean, yeah, like I never thought that before I came out either. I mean, I didn't think it after I came out either, but, you know, I know I've spoken to many men, unfortunately, and a lot of them have just genuinely got this attitude. It's not even necessarily that they think they can just go out raping. There are a lot of men whose entire concept of getting a girlfriend or sleeping with a woman is about manifesting some predatory, manipulative behavior that they justify to themselves as not being predatory and manipulative. So, like, pickup artists and shit. She's asking for it, she deserves it. It's like, oh, you know, thinking of tagging her out for a few drinks, get her on it, you know. Reckon she'll limber up, that kind of thing. You know, the guy doesn't even need to spike a drink. He just needs to make sure he's not drinking as much as she is. It's a really sordid thing to think about. Check this video. What is it? Instagram video. Let's have a look. Is it a reel? Oh, hang on. Stop. I can't hear it. Okay, here we go. Let me get the audio on. Let me have the headphones on for a sec. I actually had a conversation at Nova about this yesterday. With Nova about this yesterday, and this culture ruins all of us in different ways. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. It does. Alright, let's have a look at this. This week on Ask a Trump Supporter, can a woman be president? Let's have a look at this. We'll turn the music off for a second. We'll reload the page.
Be president.
The presidency is a man's job.
I have women are qualified to be president.
No. A female has more hormones. She could start a war in 10 seconds. If she has hot flashes, whatever, boom.
Haven't all wars been started by men?
Yes.
Can a woman be president?
More hormones? What does that mean? What more hormones? How? Oh, laughs in T levels. Am I right? More hormones. The way she said that makes me think, is she even American? She might be from Canada. Are you able to make those kind of judgments if you're not from America, lass? So what the worst cishet people actually think? Yeah, I reckon so. Hey. More hormones, please. Please, give me more hormones. Anyway. It's been a night. It's been fun. It's been interesting. I wanted to go more onto the whole, like, we talked about the patriarchy of society. People don't want, certain people, MRAs, really don't like it when you bring up the patriarchy as a thing. Because, like, you know, we had a MRA in the other night. I think I mentioned this before. Who, like, the moment I started talking about patriarchal society, they immediately rushed to mention how society is not patriarchal. I'm like, well... And they started bringing up a bunch of irrelevant points. You know? Stuff that doesn't really prove that society's not patriarchal. Like, society can still be patriarchal. Like, the things with, like, one of the major examples is, like, you know, the ones I can think of, men are more likely to commit suicide, but women are more likely to attempt suicide. Men are just more likely to succeed because of the methods they use. Men are less likely to get custody of their children in divorce, and men are more likely to something else, go to prison or something. It's like, well, here's the thing. So here's the best analogy I can give you. Society as a patriarchal unit, Western society as a patriarchal unit, still hurts men, still oppresses men, but in different ways than it oppresses women and anyone who doesn't fit the conventional status quo. It's like a father who's got 3 children and he abuses all of them. Okay, he beats the shit out of all of his kids. He screams at all of his kids all the live long day. 2 of his kids are daughters, 1 of his kids is a son. But the way he abuses his son is different to the way he abuses his daughters. He's still abusing all of them. That's the way it works. That's the way patriarchy works. So, like, well, a better example would be like 1 son, 1 daughter, like a 50-50 split. You get the point, though. That's right. Like, the whole idea. Also, my lipstick looks like shit. I hate the fact that you can actually see the skin on my lip, but whatever. The reality of the situation is patriarchal society is an abusive parent. He's abusing all of his children. He's just doing it differently for all of them. Anyway, that's, you know, it's still, like, there's still a patriarchy in that scenario. There's still the dad running the household. With black lipstick, it's actually a really dark purple, and I really love it. Patriarchy punishes men who aren't man enough to be on top. Exactly. Like, I saw a dude today while I was out who was, like, really skinny, had really long, like, honestly, I envy his hair. This dude had really long, silky hair, and I'm like, oh my god, that's gorgeous. But I guarantee you, he's one of those blokes who would probably cop shit, because he's not big and beefy, and he keeps his hair long. You know, a lot of people would be like, haha, why don't you man up and get a haircut, you fucking F-slur, probably. Can confirm a lot of young men get detained, restrained, and humiliated, but enough about femboys. Fucking A. This is an autistic-friendly space. Yes, exactly. Yes, absolutely, I should say. I'm autistic. Yeah. Lighter colors are the same, you just don't notice as much. Well, I mean, yeah, like if you're wearing a lighter color, you're not going to notice it. But yeah, darker color. I like wearing dark lipstick, but the problem is, you know, the moment you open your mouth, you're just like, oh, it doesn't go all the way in. I don't have like a soulless void in my mouth. See, like I can... Looks fine when my mouth is shut. Should I just keep my mouth closed for 3 hours straight and just sit on camera? No one has subbed to me in nearly 5 minutes. What's going on? Where's my subscribers? I can't believe this. Oh my god. How can people keep that voice up for so long? Telepathy stream. No, I can't. I'm just deleting those photos. I actually did open my camera app and take some selfies. I once did unironically see a stream. I clicked on it on a random stream when I was into Overwatch streams. And there was this girl streaming in the category who was like, her camera was like this. Like she had like a big border overlay, I think. And her game was over here in a tiny little box. And she was actually playing, but the main camera was just her. And it was just a tiny little box. And she was literally on the waiting screen. She could have been commentating, could have been talking to chat, anything. Sitting there quietly, just browsing on her phone, waiting for the next match. Full face and makeup and everything. Done up, full outfit. Just waiting for the subs to roll in. Why are my subs not rolling in? At least I interact with you people. Hello. I'm wondering what you wanted me to do. Hmm? Oh, I didn't take that. No, thank you. Yeah, where are my thousands and thousands of subscribers? I was literally sitting here taking selfies. You're the sub rolling in. You rolled them in as much as you could earlier. Honestly, Princess, you are incredible. Yeah, why aren't my subs rolling in? Ziwa rushes into room. Even now with long hair, it took my mother like a year to stop making negative comments about my hair and accept it. It's really weird the way parents feel like they have some kind of authority over your choices with your body. I occasionally mention I want to get a tattoo to my mother, and it's always a mistake to say that. I should never mention to my mum that I plan on getting a tattoo, because without fail, every single time, she's like, why do you want to destroy your body like that? And I'm like, why the fuck does it matter? It's not yours. I'm 32 years of age. I can do my own thing. I can make my own decisions. I can inject heroin into my butthole if I want. You can't stop me. My mum will not call me the name everyone else has called me now for 10 plus years. Oh my goodness. Why is it? Why is that? That reminds me of a story that we read a little while back on stream. I keep coming back to this in my head and I'm still not sure if it's real or not, but I wouldn't be shocked. Of this trans woman who was like, I don't know what I can't remember what angle the story was told from, but basically there was a workplace, there was a trans woman at the workplace who was a woman since she started working at that workplace. She was a new hire, I think. And there was a transphobe who kept referring to, like, somehow through a process of, I don't know fucking what, she must have come across a document or something addressed to the trans woman by the trans woman's dead name. And this transphobic coworker just immediately started referring to that trans woman by her dead name all the time. And when confronted on it, said she was using that name out of respect for the trans woman's mother. Because the mother had named her or something. I don't know if that story's true, but I think about it a lot. I'm like, I don't even need to consider if it's true, honestly. It could totally fucking happen. Don't tell me it couldn't. There are people that dog shit that they would do that kind of thing. Out of respect for your mum, I'm going to call you Travis Samantha. Like, what if the mother was dead? You're gonna respect a corpse? Guess the mother is being disrespectful if she isn't still using her maiden name, which I think that sort of came into it. If I recall correctly, as a retaliation, the trans woman started referring to the co-worker by her maiden name. Which obviously pissed off the transphobe. Anyway. A lot of a lot of neurotypical stuff on autism is focused on the neurotypical parents of the autistic kids. Yeah. I hate reading stuff about, like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the trans thing. All the time, the issue with regards to trans people is focused on the other people around trans people. Right? It's not focused on what concerns the trans people. And it's the same with autism. There's so much discussion around how autism affects the people around the autistic person. Family, friends, all that, carers. You know, and it reminds me of the trans widows thing we did a little while back. I did a video on this. The reason this is fresh in my mind is because some idiot keeps commenting on the fucking video. It's like, you know, why did... I think it was the BBC, honestly. Why did this publication need to publish an article about how trans women transitioning is affecting the wives/divorcees of the trans women? Why are you publishing an article specifically about how these wives of trans women are so miserable about how they're losing their husbands? Why do you need to publish that? You know? The only reason would be to make the trans women look bad, right? There's no other reason for it. And it's the same thing with autistic people. There was... I don't know if this is still going on. I'm not sure if this is still an ongoing issue. But for a good long while there was a lot of... a news and discussion around how children being autistic was negatively affecting parents and carers. Oh my god, it's so draining to be a parent to an autistic child. You have no idea how my life is destroyed. Despite the fact that the autistic kid's right over there, minding his own business. Hello, Smudge. You're coming back in now. It's never about, you know, the minority involved. Anyway, on the other hand, your trans daughter recently asked if you were proud of the tits she has grown and said that might be seen as weird. Sorry, I only just got back to that active. That's kind of funny, though. It's like asking how the 100-plus police force feels after pepper spraying 2 people. Exactly. Good analogy. Good analogy. Information about the wives of transitioning people might be an interesting footnote, but it shouldn't be the focus. Precisely. Information about the parents of autistic kids might be an interesting footnote, but shouldn't be the focus. The only reason people are publishing those kinds of pieces is to, for example, make autistic people look bad, make trans people look bad. It allows people to justify their bigoted opinions about those minorities. You know, if you continue to paint a picture in the mainstream media of a certain minority group, like autistic kids, like transgender people, or what have you, and you spin it in such a way it's like, look at how this minority group is affecting all these normal people. Then all of a sudden, all those other normal people can look at that and be like, look, this is a real serious concern that society needs to take into consideration. You know. Trans booba is the most wholesome booba. It really is. Hello, Green Phoenix. How you going? They never seem to write articles about people like my ex, who is still my best friend. Well, yeah. It's because the wives can legally stop their trans wives from transitioning and they want to keep that in place. Yeah, exactly. Which is fucking ludicrous. I feel sorry for the trans women in that discussion. You understand that your cousin and his wife have particular issues with their non-verbal autistic son. It definitely affects them. Doesn't mean he doesn't deserve love and acceptance. Exactly. Yeah. Excuse me. And that's the thing. It's like, we need more articles that talk about how autistic people are affected by those kind of publications. Why are autistic kids not being brought to the forefront of that discussion? Why are they not being the ones considered? Why are their feelings not being brought up? Why is it always the carers? Why is it always the parents or whatever? Who gives a shit about them? Let's talk about the autistic kids. Let's talk about how they feel, you know. I don't have a problem with people with autism. I'm literally a person with autism. Where did you get that idea from? That's a very astounding conclusion you've drawn there, mate. I beg pardon. Yeah, like, that's the thing, is in the face of, and I mean, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to news around autistic people necessarily, but I do know that sort of thing's out there. The same with news around trans people, right? There's so much being published all the time, and I heard rumor and conjecture, can't confirm this, that Ricky Gervais may be publishing, releasing a new special sometime in the not too distant future, which, shock and horror, more transphobic shit, hooray, on Netflix no less. It's like, why are we constantly getting more and more attention drawn to us negatively from people who are amid the status quo, who are generally not affected by our existence? You know, knows someone when the GRC starts in the UK who had to divorce her wife to get her GRC, even though both parties wanted to stay together. Yeah. Why is that not discussed in that particular article I mentioned about the trans widows? You know, what about the couples who want to stay together, but because of archaic laws that honestly need to be repealed, they're forced to divorce, you know? Which really sucks, because Ricky's public trashing of the Oscars was fucking hilarious and sad. Yeah, but you know. What about Netflix? Well, they recently published the incredibly transphobic Dave Chappelle special, which we went over last night, how the story of Daphne Dorman and her suicide being encouraged by being dragged on Twitter was a complete fabrication. You know, so Dave Chappelle and his whole massively transphobic special. And then now supposedly, again, this is rumor, we don't know if this is true yet, but you know Posey Parker? Let me bring this up. Nothing. You redeemed nothing. What good is that? That's not going to help me. How dare you? Let me go back through my likes really quickly. See if I can find this. James Stephanie Sterling tweeted... Oh, wow, how many things have I liked since this? Here we go. No, this isn't it. Commander Stephanie Sterling. Maury. There you go. My lipstick is coming off a little bit. Oh, okay. That's annoying. Let me find this really quickly. Tweeted... Where is it? Here we go. So, again, this is a rumor so Steph tweeted this. Steph quote tweeted this. But breaking, Kelly J. Keane, Posey Parker, has talked about seeing Ricky Gervais live on Friday night. I am not allowed to tell you what he says yet, but when his Netflix special comes out, we will be much closer to winning. So for those who don't know, Posey Parker is an incredibly transphobic personality. And it seems as though on the horizon we're probably going to see another Netflix comedy special which veers very heavily into transphobic territory. So again, rumor, conjecture, hearsay, we don't know for sure. Could be nonsense, but you know. Should they go by James fucking Stephanie Sterling or James Stephanie fucking Sterling? Good question. Good question. I would tweet that at them. I'd say them. They pronouns. I'd tweet that at them, but I don't honestly think they'd respond. We could try it. Do I have enough pull on Twitter to get James Stephanie Sterling's attention, do you think? I don't know. Yeah, they only use they pronouns. Anywho. There's that. I know exactly who we're going to raid tonight, because yeah, we're 8 minutes past midnight, and I know exactly who I want to go say hello to. I want to go say hello to Glitchcraft, who's playing Death's Door, who might be further along than I am. But I'm very keen on finishing Death's Door myself. I'm not too fussed about spoilers, though. I mean, it's a gaming website. We're going to go say hi to Glitch. I'll be live again next night. Wow, I'm picking up my language from my son now. Tomorrow night. My son says next night, next day, instead of tomorrow. Anyway. Oh, Glitch is on a BRO back screen. That's okay. They're fine. Did you ask if you can get attention as a hot goth girl? True. True. I'm gonna copy this. I'm just gonna copy this and tweet it after the stream ends. Anyway, Big Bird, yeah, like Big Bird, I am vaccinated against COVID. Because Big Bird said on Twitter you should go get vaccinated against COVID. So go get your vaccine, folks. Because Big Bird said so. And that's good. Anyway, we're gonna go say hi to Glitch. Be kind to yourselves and each other, as always. I love your faces. And I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Bye, folks.